All right. Buongiorno. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Gone Too Far from Behind the Bar podcast with your host, Kyler.
Hi, and Chase.
And today we have Gabe.
Hey, how's
Welcome,
it going?
Gabe.
Hey, Gabe, what's your Instagram title? What do you go by?
It's at Gabe the Bartender.
Gabe, I thought it had. I thought it was like a little bit more intense. Gabe the Bartender.
Oh, yeah, it's very easy.
I thought I saw another nickname on there.
Oh, no, I changed it for a little bit, and then I went back to it.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, I went back to Gabe the Bartender.
Well,
Was
welcome,
it
sir.
that bad? Why was it?
No. I just thought I remember seeing it something else, and it was kind of funny. It was
Well,
like
what was it?
Grizzlies something.
Yeah, it was Grizzy the Mole.
That's what
Grizzly
it was.
the Mole.
And that was my like my Xbox name for the longest time.
Okay.
And then I switched it, and then I was like, yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work out. Trying to talk to people, they're like, who the fuck is Grizzy the Mole?
I'd be like, what does that mean? It's
am.
all good. We are drinking today for our featured cocktail is the Manhattan. I made Chase go out and buy us these nice little cherries, so that way they looked really pretty in photos. Cheers. We went with the Maker's 46. Nice oaked, rye heavy on the mash bill, and then we used Antica Vermouth, which is the best, and they actually make it in splits now. So my thing was
Look
I
at
never
that.
wanted to buy it because it was a full bottle, cost you about $33, and you make a 1 ounce at a time is what you use it per drink. Typically I'm not going to go through that at home. In the fridge it'll last maybe a month. I like it for occasions, but only on occasions. So a split, half the price, half the bottle, I can use it when I need it. It's fucking great. And then we used what is that, bitter cube cherry bark, is that what that says? Yeah, that little guy. Bitter cube.
Little guy right
yeah,
there.
cherry bark vanilla bitters just to kind of round it out. So, I mean, do you know the area code of Manhattan?
Yeah, it's 212, just like the same type, the ingredients that you had.
That's it, dude. It's easy as
212.
shit.
Boom.
Parts are 212. 2 parts of a rye heavy whiskey, 1 part sweet vermouth, and then 2 dashes of a bitters, and then you use a nice cocktail cherry. So cheers, man. Welcome. Sure. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely.
Of course. We always like to start every podcast with the first time you got drunk.
Oh,
Do you remember?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right.
It's such a unique story to everybody that gets ingrained in your head that you just will never forget.
Oh, yeah.
First kiss, first blowjob, first time you got drunk.
Oh, yeah. No. I wish it was all three.
First kiss.
How awesome would
First
it be
kiss,
to be
first
like all
pee-pee
three
kiss.
at once?
Oh, yeah,
That would be awesome.
Unicorn.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I got a first kiss and blowjob and I got drunk. Oh, shit.
Right.
No, so the first time I ever got drunk, I was 13. I was going to be 14, and I was going to be a freshman in high school. And I went to my brother's friend's house. He had a pool table. It was all that. My older brother's. He's like 8 years apart. So what he was trying to teach me was to get ahead of high school. And so they gave me my first Bud Light. And so ever since then I still don't like Bud Light.
It's gross.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's got that taste where like, and it smells like too, like if you ever washed your clothes and you forgot to like throw the detergent in there, and then it fucking
Like musty?
Yeah, then
Mildewy.
and then like you go to sleep and then you wake up the next day and then you just open it up and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot to wash
shit.
these. Yeah, that's exactly what Bud Light smells like.
Or worse, like when you do it in the towels and you dry it already and you go to throw that towel on your face to dry yourself after a shower. It's like,
Just ruined all the work you just did.
Yeah, you get that old and new spice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh man.
So it gives you Bud Light.
yeah.
Yeah, so he gave me Bud Light, and he's like, here, drink this. So I was like, okay. First thing when you try alcohol, you're like, oh, what the hell is this, So, but my fourth one, I started getting really drunk, and then I had to puke. And so I went to go puke, and my brother comes to the bathroom, and he gave me, like, the best advice I've ever heard. He pretty much told me, like, look, you're going to go to high school. Your next year coming up. So here's 2 things that you don't want to do. 1, you don't want to be that guy that's drunk, right at the start of the party, because you're gonna be the laughing stock. And 2, you don't want to be that weird guy that's not drunk. You don't want to do that. So you want to be like in the middle, So then that way, when your buddies are getting drunk, you can watch them. And then, but if you're the first one getting drunk, they're obviously gonna be watching you. Be like, hey, look what Gabe did, fucking idiot. Look at him.
Right, you're getting the dicks drawn on your face once you fall asleep.
Oh yeah. That worse. And then like bring out those old school cameras because this was like when 3 gigapixel was still like the shit. Where it's like you can barely tell. All you see is just a bunch of little pixels, and then oh yeah, he's drunk. Yeah, so like I
Toilet and Gabe.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's just like all right, just wait 20 seconds. It's gonna clear up. And then there I am, just puking my lungs out. No. So, yeah, that was my first time. And ever since then, I haven't really touched Bud Light unless like I'm at a quinceañera or something, where that's all they have is Bud Light. And then I'm just like, fuck, all right, I guess I'll drink it.
So just hanging out at your brother's, like a training exercise, it kind of seemed like, huh?
Oh yeah, it was more like a simulation, except I totally failed. I was just puking my lungs out, and I'm like, I don't like this.
So more it was better there, huh? Than
oh yeah, it was better there than
supervised.
Like yeah, it was better there than like my crush was like, hey, you want your first kiss? I'd be like, yeah.
She's like, I was gonna give you a blowjob too.
Oh man, it would have been the trifecta. Imagine if she would have just kept doing that, like all 4 now. Oops, sorry, all 4. It's just like I get my first kiss, a blowjob, I'm first drunk, and then I puke on her, and then it just ruins that girl's life. She goes to like Arizona State or something.
ASU.
Traumatized, just keeps it going.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Conditioned for it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
So
funny. Right on, man. You were saying that you were brought up something before we got started that I thought was really funny. You said that you got written up for making a muff diver shot.
oh yeah, yeah. So at my work we I mean I can't really say the name because I don't want to get sued, but I was working at this place, and we do shots for bachelors, bachelorettes, or birthdays. Everybody likes that. It's my birthday, I'm special. Give me a free shot.
What do I get?
what do you got for me?
It's my birthday, I'm 23. Make me something good. And so
I call this one chlamydia.
ooh, what's that? That sounds good. I've heard that before. Does that?
She got Fireball.
Does that fireball?
It's not gonna burn going down, is it?
It's gonna burn somehow. And so I made this guy a drink called the Muff Diver. So it's pretty much like in either a martini or coupe glass, and you add orange vodka, a little bit of peach schnapps, some Chambord, pineapple juice, just to kind of give it that color. Then what you do is you put 2 oranges on the side, 2 sliced oranges, a little cherry in the middle, and a little bit of whipped cream on top, just to kind of make it look like a muff, and just like, just like the blowjob, you're not supposed to use your hands, right?
Right.
So, that's very popular, and it's always one of those, and it always gets like the bachelor is always walled up, like
pictures,
oh dude, yeah, you totally muffed in that dive, or or whatever, dive in the muff. There you go. That's what I meant to say.
Dude, you muffed that dive.
You muffed that dive. You went in 10 out of 10.
Couldn't tell where the dive began and the muff ended.
There's people asking for advice later on, like, hey, before we leave, why don't you I got some questions for you because you seem like you knew what you were doing.
Oh man, like you knew exactly what you were doing. It's like, hey,
Like that video that chick, can you eat pussy like that? You see that dude eats like a hot dog or something super fast, or like a sandwich. He like chomps it down super quick. And the chick like in the back like watches him. She's working there. She's like, "Can you eat pussy like that?"
The chick was working. Bitch, I don't know
she
your
was
life.
like a line cook or something. She had the gloves on.
her eyes wide open. Or...
She was-
yes.
Big
She was
smile.
excited.
Oh man, it just got like 10 degrees hotter in there,
Dude, that's funny. So
have to
you
find
make
it.
that. Dude has a great time.
Yeah, dude has a great time, and then boss man comes around, sees it, and then he was like, "Hey, I need you to come into the office." I was like, "Okay." Then writes me up, and then I'm like, "What's this for?" And he's like, "Well, you can't be using profanity around this area."
Profanity.
Well, because I called it a muff diver. I mean, I could have called it.
Muff.
Yeah, but
Could have called it the pussy pounder. You could have called it the vag luge. You could have called it a ton of different stuff that would have been way more profane.
yeah, exactly. So,
By the way, you can cuss on this podcast.
oh
too,
yeah,
so
yeah.
just
No, I'm not holding back. I said like fuck like 8 times already. So,
cock,
like,
balls.
oh yeah.
Clit tickler.
This is the FCC. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
And
dude.
so he wrote me up and you know,
That's
I was just
bullshit.
like, yeah, I was
Shit
like, all
ain't
right,
cool.
whatever, you know. And so now I got to call it something maybe more child friendly. So, you know, I'm still thinking of the name. So if
At the bar.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you guys got a name for it, you know, like it'd be great, you know.
Right in.
Yeah.
Go on our Facebook, Twitter. We'll take a picture of one. Well, actually, we'll make one. I think I got all the stuff to do it.
There you
Yeah,
go.
we can make one. We'll put it on
The
the
Punani
Instagram.
Tsunami.
Ooh, I like that.
I was thinking the cotton picker, but I mean, I figured,
seems
you know,
bad.
that'd be a little bit, you know, out of
It's a
there.
different direction, but it's still
exactly.
bad.
Exactly. So I mean, like, even if I try to like church it up, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, call it a microgreen salad. How about that? And that's vegan friendly,
There you go, non-GMO.
non-GMO.
These are the bean sprouts.
Oh, heavy on the bean sprout. Hell yeah.
Have a nice arugula.
Dude, have you noticed that garnishes have been getting out of control on cocktails lately? Like, it's no longer about your drink. Now it's about how much funky shit your glassware.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's
Especially with Bloody Marys.
Baby bird. Oh, yeah. There was this Bloody Mary list when we just went to San Diego this weekend.
Yeah.
And this Bloody Mary list was like 5 or 6 long, but they were fucking food orders. And it was just like, Bloody Mary list. Comes with a beer battered hot dog, bacon wrapped scallop on the side, and then it was literally a list of like, it was just a food. I didn't order one.
Kebabs sticking out of your Bloody Mary.
Yeah, well, not even. I think it was more. You remember those commercials for the beer that had the plate around it, that had like the chips and then like and the dips and all that stuff?
Yeah.
You remember when that was a thing? Yeah, I assume it's like that, right? Where it's like, yeah, you get all this food and then there's a Bloody Mary in there too. So it's like cool. Like
So it's like a meal and like a fucking drink.
they were
now.
huge. Yeah, like the amount of shit that came with it, I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like it was a food pairing that was just included, which I thought was maybe kind of cool too. And we did a Bloody Mary where we threw a lot of shit in there as a garnish wise, but I mean it was all like you just take the garnish stick out and it was still you got this great cocktail. Where it was good. It was a decent Bloody Mary. Mine is I want a lot of flavor in my Bloody Mary. I don't like bland. I don't like bland anything.
I think that's what kind of attacks that then, you know, because everybody's got to add extra shit. But like, you know what, your Bloody Mary's not nice, but you know, if you have a little cheeseburger slider on top, you know, it's gonna taste amazing. You know,
slider, chicken finger, and 3 fries.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe
There
some
you
of the barbecue sauce drips in there and tastes a little bit better.
throw some shrimp in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's out of control. We did first bar I ever worked at. We did make handmade Bloody Marys where we'd actually take clams and put it in there, and it was delicious. You had to like actually take and grind up garlic and put it in there. It was fantastic. It was a pain in the ass. And we did all you could drink Bloody Marys.
That thing sounds cool.
Yeah, it was really good. And then, but all you can drink Bloody Marys is a bad idea because you cannot. That's not one of those things where you should be pounding.
No,
like you could have a few of them before like things just get bad, and then when you throw up, that's the worst looking vomit ever.
Oh yeah, it's
Bloody
like Manhattan in the toilet, man. You're just painting the town red. No, this is bad. You know, like you don't want that.
gross.
Can you imagine that? Like for the next person to come in and just see that shit right there, you're just like, what the fuck happened to that guy?
What is that?
Did he eat the chorizo? Like, what's going on? Why is he bleeding out of his ass? Like, what is this?
Definitely
Is
seen
that
some
a
weird
slider
vomit.
and a chicken finger and 3 fries?
There's like a half dissolved bone and 3 fries.
It's like an appetizer slider and a fucking like a sampler inside a drink now. It's
The 3 fry. I like that. It'll just be 3 fries like on a skewer, like kind of.
Like circle.
just comes out with a skewer. Dude swallowed the whole fucking thing.
I like the idea of maybe like a Slim Jim straw. Like if you had is that too much to drink your Bloody Mary out of a Slim Jim straw?
through a meat stick.
Through a meat stick.
I think it'd be cool as long as you have like
Actually
a
sounds
little,
kinda good.
like a little Macho Man Randy Savage person right next to it. That'd be
Yeah,
that'd
like
be
a
really
little-
cool. Yeah,
like a little toy. He's
Be
holding
like
onto
a
it.
plastic piece where he's like this, and that's where you slide the beef stick into.
oh, that would
It's the circle.
that would be so cool.
Dude, yeah, dude. That's
All right.
Slim Jim.
So it turns out
Where
we're
you
going
at?
to open up a Bloody Mary bar downtown Las Vegas where we have cool meat Slim straws. We're going to call it, I don't know. You got any cool stories about things?
I was gonna say you can like open it next to like Nacho Daddy and then
Nacho.
name it Macho Daddy. You know?
Macho Daddy.
So then
It's
that way,
just
people
all
just get
Bloody
confused.
Marys.
You know, just,
Go to Nacho Daddy's. All right, see you, Macho Daddy's.
it's like, oh, that was next door. Oh man,
You can make
did you
them
try the Bloody
connect.
Mary? Holy crap, Macho Man Randy Savage was there.
You gotta keep it. It's a souvenir.
That one- Rest in peace, Macho Man.
R.I.P.
Did he die? He died?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah,
passed
did.
away.
Yeah,
Like
he
a while
pa-
ago, or
Oh,
like,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
not news.
See, now I feel like okay.
Yeah. No, it was not too new.
R.I.P. Macho Man Randy Savage. Just
He was cool, man. The guy was coked out of his mind.
He was the cream, the cream of the crop.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
You've been bartending for a while now, right?
Yeah.
Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from small city, Palm Springs, California.
Okay.
About 4 hours away from here.
Gotcha.
It's very easy to be a cop because only like 3 guys do the crime. You know, everybody knows each other. You know, so it's like if this guy didn't do it, obviously it's these other 2 guys that did
It's
it.
easy being a cop, not like easy to become a cop.
No, it's easy being a cop. Like to become a cop is like a whole different concept. But
I was like they just didn't have anybody signing up. And like if you're looking for being a cop, go to
like the
Palm
old,
Springs.
like those old Western saloons where it's like, here you go, here's your sheriff's
Like
badge.
anybody could sign up, and you just like associate deputy.
Associate deputy.
Here you go. You go ahead and take down Jesse James.
So there's 3 dudes, and they're like, I'm sure they easily stand out on the street when they're walking by.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You know, they're always like the regular patrons too. So it's like a small city to the point where everybody knows each other.
Right.
You know, so it's like if somebody ever walks down under tab and you're like, oh, I know exactly who that person is. You can literally go,
Right.
hey, you know, give me, you know, you forgot to pay your tab.
You
know,
literally
no
put
harm,
a
no foul.
sticker in it to his door.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, I don't want to put you on the wall of shame because everybody knows who you are. You know, you're gonna go on Sunday and it's gonna be on there too. You know, like if you go to the church or whatever, you know, they're gonna see that there. They're gonna know it's you. You know.
Funny.
So yeah. Palm Springs is a small area. I mean, it's got a lot of history, like like Las Vegas. You know, we still do have those underground tunnels in certain bars that lead to
from
certain areas. I
Prohibition?
mean, they're all closed up now, but I mean, like there's a cool spot called the Bootlegger Tiki's in Palm Springs, and they have one of the original underground tunnels during the Prohibition era as well. So it's really cool. I mean, you can't see it because, like I said, it's all boarded up, but it's dope. You know, there's a lot of history out there.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I went to a speakeasy in San Francisco that I think was one of the original, or it wasn't. It was like back in the day how they had it set up, and then they just remodeled everything to actually make it more modern. But you go through, and one side's a restaurant, and then you go through this crazy little doorway system, and you end up like I remember like accidentally, because I was kind of tipsy when we got there, and accidentally ended up at this cool little spot. But it was dope. You come around the corner, and then here's this whole new hidden restaurant that seems like it was underground.
Oh wow! Did you have to say like a magic word like moist towelette or something?
Moist towelette.
Moist towelette. That's my safe word.
That's mine too. Yes. How awesome would it be though, just to hear it? Like, all right, is this good? Yes. Moist towelette.
Moist is a big turnoff word for a lot of people too. So it's a good
That would make
safe word.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect safe word because you just
Turn
stop
it
and you're
down,
like,
turn it
what?
Moist, huh?
Dude, that's dope.
Perfect.
No little secret code word. That was it
Not
like a
that I
tour
remember.
that they brought you through, or
You know, it was my buddy Logan, and he set it all up, and I didn't think we were gonna get to go, and I didn't think we were there. He was just like, "Oh yeah, follow me," and then he got us through, and then we just kind of like I followed him, and it seemed sketchy at first, and then we showed up, and I was like, "Oh, this is fucking cool." And then there's a couple like downtown. So downtown has the the Mob Museum. So the Mob Museum has their like it's not an actual, wasn't used during Prohibition, their little speakeasy, but they have that, and they have a vault door that you can actually go behind, and then they have a private room behind this legitimate vault door. It's pretty cool in their speakeasy bar.
Nice.
Yeah, cool little spot.
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
that's a cool spot, both for tourists and locals to go and check out. It's typically not very expensive, or at least to get in and check out the Mob Museum itself. I'd imagine the speakeasy bars probably a little spendy.
Yeah, they have a good happy hour, and then I think that's more for like a private room, so you could do private events and stuff in there. But we got to go check it out and hang in there for a minute. Some cool memorabilia and whatnot.
yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah, I haven't really checked out here in Las Vegas. I know there's a lot of history, you know, and I took a rabbit hole of like
Some of the different shit.
of some of the different shit, and then like the second thing that comes to mind is what's haunted.
Oh yeah, see that's kind of a thing that me and my wife do. Is we take haunted tours everywhere, and they have one that's down here where it's like a foot haunted tour, and I'm sure there's
Like
gotta
a
be
walking
some-
haunted tour?
Yeah, on
Oh.
foot. It's just haunted feet.
It's just there's this one mobster that cut people's feet off. Oh.
Did you just hear those footsteps? Yeah, that was Bugsy Siegel. He's just walking around here.
They call him.
This is the location of his secret cabaret.
Dude, that's fucking great. On the Strip, since you've been there, so we worked at the same spot down on Las Vegas Boulevard. I definitely saw some crazy shit go down when I was there. Did you ever see anything wild? Like, what's some wild stuff you remember?
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so it was like a day before Halloween, and I remember this clearly.
Spooky.
Oh yeah, I know. It was a day before Halloween.
There we go.
That was good.
Hey, thanks. You know, I try doing that once in a while. I can't tell stories at the library because you know this voice. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, it was the day before Halloween.
Someone's gonna identify you.
Yeah,
because he's actually reading their book over their shoulder.
I mean, if you guys had like R&B music, you know, I could probably do that too. Like, oh yeah,
you know, very sexy radio DJ.
Yeah, welcome to the Sexy Podcast. So
Grizzly Mole here, coming right at you.
I sound very French.
Is that French? All right, so day before Halloween. Sorry.
Yeah, so it was the day before Halloween, and you know, Las Vegas, like you guys know, you guys live here. It's very known for bachelorette parties. All right, so this time we had bachelors come in, and it was like 8 dudes coming in, and I asked them where they were from, and you know, the guy was like, "We're from Costa Rica." So I was like, okay.
All right.
I was like, all right, cool. You know, hey, welcome. You know, like it's a long ways from home. Hell yeah, welcome. You know, so making them shots, whatever. They're getting drunk, and then one guy, because there's always one, decides to climb the pole, and like outside of like where the bar is, and he starts, and it's pretty high, especially if you've been on.
I'm sorry, the one that's on the strip, or
yeah, like that,
like the bridge replica.
Yeah.
So this is like a big pole. This isn't a stripper pole.
No. This isn't the one where that girl fell like 50 feet on her face.
Shit.
You know, no, it's not that one. You know.
Last time I looked, she had $30K in a GoFundMe, and that was after 2 days.
You know,
she got up and started twerking right away.
Oh yeah, people were really happy with her commitment.
Job priorities.
Oh yeah, man. She had bills to pay, man. She was like,
Hell
oh
yeah.
shit, you know,
like this lifestyle is not going to pay for itself.
Yeah, you know,
Get accustomed to certain things.
She's got every right to do it, man. And I toot my hat to her for that.
Oh yeah,
you know?
fuck yeah, dude, that was badass. Like I probably would have been a little bitch and been like, my face.
Yeah,
be spitting out. Remember, yeah,
spitting out some teeth.
She broke her face.
Oh yeah.
Where are we gonna get another one of those at this time of the day?
She'd be like, "Hey guys, tip me," you know, just like with the face.
My tits are down here. So the dude starts climbing the pole. It's a very big pole out on the middle of the Las Vegas Strip.
So wait, was he
from Costa Rica?
From Costa Rica.
So you're talking about the bridge, right? So the replica of what is it? The replica of the Brooklyn Bridge, isn't that what that is? Out in front of New York?
Yeah.
So was he climbing up like one of the cables that connected, or was he climbing up like the big cable that like goes up?
So it was like one of the cables, pretty much, and it kind of. Oops, sorry. And it kind of seems like there's like a pole right there. And so he was climbing on that pole / cable. He was getting all the way to the top, and then I looked at him. I was like, "Hey, get down!" And he's like, "Oh, I love America! I love America!" And like, and I shit you not, this is what he was yelling. He was like, "I love America!" Right? So as he's saying that, the LVMPD, Las Vegas Metro Police Department, you know, it was walking by, just trolling along, and sees the guy, and he sees me telling this guy to get down, and he looks at me, and then he looks at the dude and tells him, "Hey, get down," and he's like, "Fuck you!" And so I was like, "Oh, this is gonna get good," right? And at the time, you know, it's kind of during crunch hour, so all you're hearing is ring, 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 you know, all the fucking tickets coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And then so now I got like 4 or 5 servers now just kind of like with me like, hey, watch this.
Just watching, yeah.
Watch this, because the cop didn't even like try to climb up there. He was just like, oh, this guy's gonna get tired sometime. So he just stands there and he's just waiting, and he's like looking up, and he's waiting for this dude, and I give this dude like credit because, you know, like, remember like in first grade when you have like those koala things that hold onto your pencils? Yeah, so he was like that. He was like crutched, and he was like holding onto it like that, you know. And then so 2 more cops come, and now they're all just having like this Mexican standoff. Oh, sorry, Costa Rican standoff. and so they're looking at this guy, and then like 20 minutes later, his hands start kind of giving out, so he's slowly trickling down, coming down slowly, and then once he like reached a certain point where they grabbed him, they just grabbed him and took him in, and then his other buddies were like, "Hey, he's with us, he's with us." And then the cops like, "You guys want to go too?" And they're like, "No, later, bro. You know, like I'm sorry, man. You know, like you climbed the pole."
I hope it wasn't Friday.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, I don't care how much money I made today. I was like, that's pretty awesome. I was like, okay, you know, like I was like, yeah, it's totally worth it. It was totally worth the 15 minutes of being behind just watching it.
Yeah.
Like I'll do like the easy drinks, like, you know, like Crown and soda. So I'll be like, oh, all right, cool. You know.
Damn, he's still holding on.
I was like, damn, this guy, man, he must do like CrossFit or something, you know, because the dude's like using every bone, like he's using like his face too. I'm just like, geez, like the guy's really
His
holding
energy
on.
bar from all the Red Bull was running out the whole time. The
Oh,
weaker and
oh,
weaker
yeah.
he got.
All that vodka Red Bull. He was
So they didn't have
drinking.
to tackle him down or anything. I'm sure he was tired as fuck by the time we got down there. They're like, all right,
He's
come with
not
us.
putting up a fight.
Yeah, he's like, okay, you win.
Yeah, there's no fighting after that. Like,
See how much you really love America after you got to stay in the holding cell all weekend long.
oh, especially
Yeah,
like
Metro.
downtown, like the county, man. That's just no.
Oh yeah, and then if you get arrested on a weekend, you're not getting out of there till Monday at the earliest.
Yeah, exactly. So you're there for like 3 days, just like bunked up with whoever the hell's there. You know, like
hookers, vagrants, like all the.
More motherfuckers like you.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, but you always have to like fake it too. Like, hey, why are you in here? I mean, I wasn't climbing a pole, that's for sure. I was definitely fighting.
Stabbed a guy? Why, you want some?
Stab?
You stabbed the guy and you only got 30 days? Good for
I will
you.
squeeze the fuck out of you, bro.
It's like right now my record's 20 minutes. So, so I was like,
You ever seen one of those koala things that you used to put on your pencil?
not an actual koala, you know. Like, I've had one of those, you know. I grew up as a nerdy kid in the math club, you know, with one of those like koala pencils. That's how I know. I'm just like, hey, he reminds me of. It's like nostalgia. It just hits me back. I'm just like, wow.
Hugging it with a little
I was like, I remember.
poisonous leaf hanging out of his mouth.
I was like, man, I was a nerd. What the fuck happened? Why am I a bartender?
Hey, koalas are cool, man. And now that's like the big like hipster thing too. Now it's like I'm a qualified. So like they have those on shirts and shit all the time. Yeah.
They really? They have
Seen it?
qualified
It's like a
shirts?
koala with like, you know, like Ray-Bans on and like he's like holding an American flag or some shit. It's just one of those like crazy graphic tees, but I've seen it a bunch during the pool. Like tank tops. It's like I'm qualified to party and shit like that.
Nice. Nice.
It's punny.
My favorite punny one was Awesome Possum with the possum shirt on there. Like that one's my favorite one. That one's always makes me laugh. I don't care how old I am. I could be like 70 and that's still gonna make me laugh. You know? It's just
Awesome possum.
Awesome Possum. You
You
know?
know what I thought that I love is the fucking From the Hangover with the baby, and people still do that to like this day with the
With the
baby and the
sunglasses.
sunglasses, and I'm like, fuck, you know what? I'm not even mad at this point. Like, because at first I was just like, oh, okay. Like, the first one, you're like, fucking nailed it, bro. And then after a while, you're just like, you guys are still on this? And now I'm like, well done.
Well,
like,
let me-
you're still holding on. I like this.
Well, let me tell you something about that. Because the job that I'm at, it's you know it's there where you know freaking the first Hangover was located. You know, I don't really want to say names. So I mean, if you've seen the movie,
Within
you know
that area.
exactly which hotel I'm talking about. And so a lot of the times people come up to the restaurant and they'll be like, hey, does Chow actually own this? You know, like from The Hangover? And I'm just like,
Oh, chat.
yeah, and I'm just like, no.
What the fuck on me?
I was
Oh,
like, yeah,
fuck on you.
Exactly. And I'm just like, no, he
Get that
he doesn't own this. You know, like that's not the same guy.
You can see him Wednesday nights on The Masked Singer,
Oh,
making even more punny jokes.
Yes, I
All
gotta
the
start
time.
watching that.
It's actually pretty interesting.
Do you get that a lot?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
dude, all the time. Do you get
I
that?
believe
I'm
it.
a fuck on me. I'm a fuck on you.
Oh yeah. Like and then they're just like, wow, you know, is this? And then they always do the same thing. Did Caesar stay here?
Yeah.
And I'm just
I
like,
could,
Not
I
a
could
few people
only
that worked
imagine.
over there, and they're like all the time, especially after it came up, be like, so does he live here?
You guys got a bank of payphones, like a payphone bank. Like I know, because I worked front desk. I could only imagine that every other dude.
Everyone thinking he's the funniest, most original too. He's like, yeah, right.
and it's always like the 30th time that I hear it that day, and I'm just like not really like feeling it, and I'm just like, ha ha ha, you know, just to feed his ego a little bit, you know, because I want to see what else he wants to say, you know.
Like, can I get a vodka soda?
Yeah, or you know that, or a vodka soda
You're gonna
splash
order
of
a drink,
cran,
motherfucker.
you know, like, but it always shoots out to that. So like that's two of the very common things. So the first one is it's always like, oh, hey, you know this chow actually, like, you know, da, 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 he owns this place. And the second one is, I'm not really sure what you are. You look Middle Eastern, but there's a hint of Mexican in there in you. And then they're always trying to pinpoint. So it becomes this game of like, you know, okay, I'll bet you $20 and see what you can think.
Guess Gabe's nationality.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's because like it always comes around. Like I always get some weird stuff. Like, you know, somebody was like, are you from like Sweden? And I'm like,
Sweden.
yeah. And I told them, I was like,
That would have been my first guess.
yeah, oh yeah, me too. You know, and I would have been like, it's not the beard that gives it away. You know, it's just like, okay, you know, like, are you from Sweden? Like,
It's the eyes, actually.
oh, is that what it is? Oh,
Very
okay.
typical of Swedish people.
Oh,
Very
yeah,
typical
just 'cause-
Swedish eyes.
Yeah. Those are very Swedish eyes.
Sweet-ish, right?
Yeah,
that's-
Swedish.
Oh, so cute.
He's a dad now.
Oh,
He gets to say that cheesy stuff. But I was right behind him. I was going to say it if he did.
yeah. So I'm just kind of like, you know, and I always agree with them, you know, just to make them feel better. And they're always like, "What do I get?"
Thank you.
I'm like, "Oh, you get a high five. Here you go, man."
Congratulations.
Congratulations. You. Thanks for playing. Guess Gabe's nationality.
I did have a girl.
You don't actually tell them though, so they're not rewarded unless they get it right. Or
No. Well, I mean, it's
good guess. See you later.
Yeah, I mean,
If you don't hit the exact 23andMe, yo ass is out.
yeah, you know, like, you know, I took that 23andMe, you know,
Did you?
like, yeah, oh yeah, totally,
What were
man.
the results?
So I was 99% asshole. I don't know why, like, I even did that.
Preloaded?
So like,
That was quick.
I was just like, Jesus,
If
like,
not,
what
it was like, you know, and you think you don't have one in the chamber, and all of a sudden you're popping off a fucking.
oh,
That was
man.
good.
That was
Hey,
beautiful.
Hey,
Well
thank
played,
you,
Gabe. Well
So,
played.
I thought I was cheating and like gonna win the game, but that, you know.
yeah, so I was just like, damn, like, how'd you guys know? If they would have told me that, I would have been like, all right, here's a free drink.
10% Swedish.
Yeah, there you go, 10% Swedish,
90% asshole.
90% asshole.
Oh shit,
It's like, oh yeah, it runs in the family.
it's hereditary.
Hey. Yeah, we don't usually record with the dogs because of little outbursts like that.
They're cool. They're cool.
Oh yeah.
So what's the most outlandish one? Was it Swedish that you got?
Oh yeah,
That was probably
yeah,
it, huh?
yeah. Because you know there's some people that do get it right. They'll be like, "Oh, are you Japanese?" And I'll be like, kinda. And they'll be like, "Are you Middle Eastern?" I was like, "Why? Is it because of my beard? Like, is that why?" And they're like, "Well, you look a little Middle Eastern." I was like, "No, you know, not Middle Eastern, but thanks for trying." You know, just things like that. You know, the browner people, they kind of get closer to that. So I'm just like, okay, you know. So I was like, all right, you know, you're getting there, but you know, I'll give you a hint. There's a wall coming up. And then they're like, "Oh, you're Mexican." I was like, "Hey, how'd you know?" I could have said I was Canadian. You know, they're gonna build that soon.
You said Middle Eastern, and then said there's a wall coming up. I was like, "You're Chinese." Wow.
Just say you're Chinese. No, if I would say
That's
say
a
that
closer
now,
wall.
I think
there's a
I'd
wall
scare
coming
them.
up.
Yeah, I think I'd scare them now
If
if
you're
I would say I'm Chinese. just because of what's going on right now, you know. Like, I don't
People
want
are out of control.
Oh man, the only good thing I
Oh,
see
we just
too.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I just was going to talk more about the whole coronavirus thing that's popping up. But what's happening here is we just got ruined. A bunch of the conventions just got screwed. I'm sure you guys are probably feeling that too over on your side
yeah.
too.
Yeah, NAB just had a bunch of major players pull out for next month.
For the NBA.
NAB,
Oh, NAB.
National Association of Broadcasters, one of the big conventions.
Oh, I was
think
getting the.
pulled out.
Yeah, Adobe, Sony.
pulled out. I think there was one other really big one like Amazon or something like that also isn't going to happen. So Google or something. I don't know. It's a big loss. It's a huge bummer because of the travel restrictions on that shit. So yeah, it is getting pretty crazy.
Yeah, man, this is a big bummer.
Oh yeah. Like it's getting nuts. Like, you know, it's like. Have you guys been to the store lately where somebody sneezes and then everybody just kind of like separates away? They're just like, nope, I'm not gonna, you know, like it's funny because like, you know, they'll be like, hey, what's her name? Achoo. Oh, never mind. It's like I need to live another 5 or 6 years. You know?
Max.
Yeah, it's like I need to live another 5 or 6 years.
Surviving this first wave. Get out of here.
It's like I
I'm
still,
not too worried about me. I just like I don't know. I'm more cautious right now too, just because I have a little one. So it's like, come bring that shit home. It's like I don't even realize on me, and then all of a sudden I got a 2-week-old. Then
Yeah, yours isn't so much you worried about coronavirus, just virus in general.
it's
yeah.
flu season.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shit.
yeah, dude. That I saw
Which is just
something really sad. It was like an Uber driver that was saying. So he was, I mean, because you could see their pictures, and I guess he was of Asian descent on his pics. Like obviously, it was noticeable on his pictures, and I guess his fares have gone just drastically down because people think that just because he's Asian that he has the coronavirus, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it comes from a small province, like, in China, and then it'll spread, but that's more so, I mean, like, there's international businessmen that are unassuming that probably more likely to have it than this poor dude who hasn't left this town in 10 years. Sad, man.
Oh yeah, but you know, and I feel like there's when it comes to like diseases and stuff like that, it always leads to like a type of race or ethnicity. You know, like it always goes down to the like. In 2009, we had the swine flu. Right. And the swine flu, you know, everybody was like, oh, stay away from the Mexicans. Well, which, by the way, if nobody guessed that I wasn't Swedish, I'm actually Mexican.
It was killing me,
I was like,
man.
all right, you know, I just wanted to throw that out there, you know. But
It's like, if not, maybe Danish.
oh, there you go. Yeah, I like eating Danishes. I mean, those are good, you know, like in the morning.
Guessed Japanese, and you're like, kinda.
I was like, well, I mean, kinda. I mean, like, I like Dragon Ball Z.
I'm really into anime, so like,
It's like, yeah, you know. I was like, keep going. You're on the right track. So in 2009, you know, like the whole swine flu thing going around, and it's like, oh, you know, they were blaming the Mexicans. Oh, Mexicans, you know, don't hang around with those guys. So it sucked at my dating like life in 2009.
really?
Oh yeah, it sucked
Like
because
people were discriminating against you because of swine flu.
oh yeah, most definitely. They're like,
I didn't
oh
even-
yeah, like oh he's probably got it, and I'm just like, no man, I play for the football team. It's like, come on.
Like, I eat all the same food you
I
guys
was
eat.
like, come on, man. I was like, I'm talking to you with E's and R's. Come on, man. It's cool. Like I don't have it. Like, and I'm not getting mad about other people that have it. Like, but I'm just like, come on, man. You can't discriminate that. It's like, it's my senior year. I need a prom date. You know, it's like
I'm talking about E's and R's. That's my favorite thing I've heard.
I was
Can't
like,
discriminate against me. I talk with E's and R's. I love that. Oh, that shit's funny. Yeah, no, that's not cool. Like, I don't get it. You know what I? Do you know? Did you ever watch Star Trek?
yeah, I did.
Okay.
Which one?
The original Star Trek. Okay. So you've got fuck, what's his name?
Captain Kirk?
No. The gay dude. Hello.
Oh, freaking George Takei.
Yeah, George Takei. So George
Nailed
Takei.
it.
Yes.
That's good.
Hello.
So he had this thing where
Oh,
dude,
sorry,
he's
sorry.
fucking awesome, right?
Captain Zulu? No, son.
Oh my.
So he did this. He has a really cool documentary on that I watched, and I didn't realize how bad World War II was for like Japanese Americans. So they just assume, like, because you're at war with Japanese, and it's like kind of the same with Muslims now, where I feel like if you seem Muslim, then they automatically associate you with like this war on terror, which I don't think it's not fair to anybody to do stuff like that. And I don't think we're extremely exposed to it in Vegas, more so than other places,
Yeah.
where people that aren't Vegas just has so much like diversity to it. So you see people of all sorts of different races and colors all the time. So you're not like it's not different or weird. So when you see someone that kind of like that has like the what is it, the hijab on, it's not abnormal. People walk around like that all the time. It's like we get international travelers from everywhere, and it's not a weird thing.
Yeah. Say that's our economy is ran on people from other places. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're a tourist attraction.
Yeah. So when I hear about stuff like that, where I'm like, oh man, this fucking sucks. Like swine flu? You were really getting discriminated for swine flu? Like that sucks, man. And then when I hear people like with the coronavirus, and now even if anything, I just like now I want to do the opposite. Where if I see someone that looks like Chinese, I just want to give them a hug. I'm like, hey man, come here.
Gotta be careful.
Okay. It's okay. But I see people and they look at me like I'm judging them, and I'm like, dude, I don't think you have this. I don't think you have the coronavirus. like I want to say that, but then they're gonna be like, "What'd you say?" And I'm like,
Well, there was, and I'm not really sure which country it was, but there was a group of dudes that beat up somebody that was from Singapore, and we're pretty much telling them like, get that out of my country or whatever. You know, I'm not sure exactly where it is. I read an article on Reddit.com.
Check it out.
Yeah, check it out, guys.
Talk about rabbit holes.
Oh yeah, it'll totally change your life, especially if you're a stoner. And yeah. So they were just beating up this dude, told him to get out of his country or their country, and you know, it's just like, come on, man, like what's going on? And I feel like propaganda brings a lot of fear.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, fear sells, so they want to hype everything up. They want to trump it all up, and it's weird, kind of that's a normal expression, right? Trump it up without presidential.
Yeah, I gotcha.
like that's a normal expression, but now dude, it's so fucking weird. I just don't get it. Why can't everybody get along? Everybody lives on their phone, and it just let's get out of this and let's get into some weird shit.
There you go. All right, cool.
Let's see. Did you see? You know what's funny? Then I don't think I haven't told this story on the podcast yet because I wanted to tell it with the people that were there. But at the place that we worked, it was one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had in my life. I got hit on by a gay cholo. Like this dude was
Nice.
like beard,
exist.
gauges.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. It was like the meme, right? Because I thought it was just a joke.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was like a real thing. And this dude rolled up and he was just like, "Hey," and I'm like, "What's up, man? You want something to drink? Can I get you anything?" And then he had his buddy with him, and he goes, "Yeah, can I get you?" And I was just like, "What?" I'm like,
Are you sure he just didn't want juice?
yeah, I'm like, see, that's what I was thinking. Anything. Like, I denied it for a solid 30 minutes. I'm like, no, that can't be directed at me. There's got to be a girl behind me or something, like, because he was catcalling on me. For 4 hours, this dude hit on me. He goes, "Hey, you ever have a gibby?" I said, "What's a gibby?" He goes, "A gibby's me."
His name was Gibby.
He goes, "I'm Gilberto, and I taste good."
I've never met a cholo named Gibby. I mean, I think like, you know, the ones that I met were like Sleepy, Happy, Shadow. You know, like, you know, it always had something to do with like, you know,
The Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like
A nickname? No, Gibby.
yeah, Gibby.
So I've called him. I've dubbed him Gibby the Gay. Like Gandalf.
like Gandalf, Gibby the Gay.
What a silly question Gibby asked you. He knows that you haven't tried Gibby.
Obviously. "Hey, where you get those pants?" I'm like, "I don't know, like Marshall's." He goes, "I like to take them off with my teeth." And it was just like, dude.
And the guy had teeth. I mean, like a lot of cholos don't have teeth. You know?
No,
like,
he had decent teeth, but he did look like he took a shotgun blast to the face. That's like the best way I could describe it, because he had kind of like a milky eye, and then he had a bunch of like peppered scars all around his face.
Shit.
Dude, this guy was a fucking character.
Okay.
He had the like the Dickies, he had the long white socks and with the slippers. Dude, I was not ready to get hit on by this dude. And then I couldn't believe it. So I would bring people to like show them. I'd be like, "Hey, come here. $5. This guy's gonna hit on me." And they're like, "That guy's not gonna fucking hit on you." I was like, "That guy's gonna hit on me. Guaranteed." The moment I walk over there, I say something.
Yeah, I'm getting cocky.
Yeah, and it paid off.
Yeah.
Because I showed 3 different people. I had them come over, and then they were like pretending to like wash something. I'd be like, "Hey, Gibby, what's up, buddy?" He goes, "You are beautiful." "Hey, beautiful. Hey, I was happy before I met you." And dude, he had I kept
He
going
was
over.
getting deep.
He was
I was
so
happy before I
funny.
met you.
He was so funny, dude. This guy was dude. He was like one of my favorite customers I've ever had. "Hey, where you get that watch? Yay, you want to put it on my bed?" Ha.
He didn't give you like those old school poetry stuff, like, you know, keep it mellow yellow, like, you know.
He was just
all
quick.
down.
Did not
James
hear
Brown.
he said he wants to take his pants off with his teeth.
Yeah, that was
Oh no,
fast.
that's some Marvin Gaye shit,
don't
you know.
get
But
more
like, I was like,
poetic
damn.
than that.
I thought he was gonna say something different. "Oh, I take him off with my teeth," and he said it so fast. I was just like, "What?"
He said he was happy before he met you.
"Hey, beautiful."
Now what is he gonna do?
Dude,
His world will never be the same.
you know what was another weird weird thing
Did
that
you
he
flash
said
him the
too.
titties before or not
He
realize?
said he's like, "Hey, let me get your number, but my wife has my phone." I'm like, "What do you mean your wife has your
Oh.
phone?" This is like the end of the night. Yeah, my wife said that I was sitting on too many beautiful bartenders.
So it was just another line. Damn, this guy's smooth.
Yeah,
Dude,
he is super smooth. Not only he's playing the cheater route, he's
Yeah.
playing the gay route too. So I was like, damn.
And but he's really straight, so he's trying to hide it. So it's
I
like
don't
maybe
know.
you got the same thing going on.
That was like, if it was a role, he 100% committed. Give me the gay, dude. That guy
With
was
their
a
makeup and
fucking
everything.
Trip,
You got a
bro.
glassy eye, and you look like he's been chewing tobacco for 30 years.
He was a fucking trip. I really wish that I would have like taken a picture with the dude or something, that I actually had like some tangible proof. But I have I
he
have
would-
a story from Caesar.
He was
You've
afraid
met
of the
Caesar,
swine
right?
flu.
Yeah.
Yeah, Caesar came out here to the podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
nice.
He talked about. Dude, I didn't realize
a
how
great
much
one.
he
You should
loves
listen to it.
beers.
It's a
dude.
good
He
one.
Oh,
loves
yeah.
beers.
Oh yeah, he's a good dude.
No,
I like
fucking-
Caesar.
He's hilarious, and he's been through some shit as far as like different jobs, and he's seen some wild stuff, man. Yeah, but
So when did you end up in Vegas? You said you came from Palm Springs. So when did you end up coming down to Vegas? Did you?
Well, I came about a year and a half ago.
Oh, so not very long ago at all.
No, not very long. So I knew somebody that was working at the same spot that we were working at, and so she kind of plugged me in. And then I kind of left on bad terms, so that kind of ruined our friendship in a sense.
Oh, from that establishment.
Yeah, from that job. Yeah, because
man.
I wasn't happy. Like, I mean,
that place was rough.
yeah.
The place was fucking dog shit, bro. For how much we worked, how do we walk out with so little money?
Oh yeah.
Like,
And-
you would just get killed.
Yeah, and especially when you're out there like facing everybody, everybody wants to come up here, especially if they're walking by. They're like, "Oh, look, happy hour."
You talk about patio bar?
Oh yeah, patio
Yeah.
bar. Yeah, patio bar. That's where you get crushed the most, man. You got 20 plus seats around.
Yeah.
You have
All
you're the
angles.
only guy. Yep. Sometimes all your beer taps won't work. Sometimes they'll come out foamy just because the pressure system's a little off and all that good
It's
stuff.
outside, so different temperatures and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
It'd be hot as balls out there, bro.
Oh,
You'd
yeah.
be just sweating bullets. Plus, there was a 30-minute, I'd say like 30-minute to an hour window where the sun was going down and it would reflect on the building across, and you would just get fucking blinded. Like, you'd be just staring into this wall of sun.
So I think that's where the Japanese came from, where they're like, "Hey, are you Japanese?"
Yeah, like you're on the right track.
I was like, you're on the
Squinting.
yeah, because the light's reflecting
Yeah,
at
the
us.
What?
sunlight.
Why?
What makes you say that? Nihongo ga wakarimasu ka? I was like, how do you know?
That was good. That sounded good.
It's funny, man. You have any other stories like that stick out that you just were like, wow, that was fucking weird?
Yeah, I mean, like I never had a gay cholo hit on me, and
yeah. First and last time, by the way. It's
yeah,
never
yeah,
happened since.
because I mean,
Kid you
like
couldn't find,
unless
yeah.
unless I'm like in county jail or something, that might be a different story. But because I mean, when desperate times calls for
Yeah.
desperate needs, so
Hey,
I'm like,
you
okay.
don't tell nobody. I don't tell nobody.
It's like, hey, you know what, man? My lover, she's over there. It's cool. So as long as you don't say nothing, I don't say nothing. It's okay. Just don't put me on Facebook.
just don't tag us in a relationship.
Just don't put me. If you had the location, just make sure it's somewhere else.
Oh man, we have this picture on our Instagram. It says, "I don't want to join Facebook unless this is us," and it's got a picture of like the girl's bent over, and the dude's all sweaty behind her, like, and they're both naked. Like, you could tell he's like hitting it from behind.
Obviously fucking her.
Jeez.
She's like laying on her belly, like taking a little selfie.
Yeah, and he just seems unaware, like dripping sweat.
But like I think that's what like sugar babies have to look up to, like the ones that are just kind of just like, like, hey, you know what? I don't have to pay anything. I have a sugar daddy. But eventually you're gonna have to pay your cards. And I think that's where that comes along, where it's just like, okay, it's 15 minutes.
Is that what they call old man semen? Curds?
It's got to be something, but like, Jesus.
It's actually cheese.
Oh, is it cheese? Oh, it's like cottage cheese.
cheese.
It's like aged. It's like it
man.
just shoots out, and you just put it on your bagel.
On your bagel.
A little bit in your cantaloupe.
Just put a little bean sprouts. Going back to
Cantaloupe.
that bean
Just back to the bean
sprouts.
sprouts.
Make it healthy. Why not?
There you
Give
go.
you organic stuff.
Oh,
So
oh yeah, I'll take another one. Oh here. Oh. Thanks, man.
I love this that bar wedge. One of my buddies got me that. Want to read it to the listeners?
Oh yeah, this this one. Alrighty, it says it's on, motherfuckers. Hell yeah, this is the cool fucking thing. Holy shit, that's awesome. Like I had one that said slots,
Yes.
and it was red and it said slots, and then like I had to like kind of paint it a little bit so it says sluts. And it was like my favorite. Like somebody stole it, so I'm gonna find out whoever has it. By the way, whoever has my bottle opener, I'm gonna come find you.
Want back.
You know, because I want that thing back. I spent like $2 on a Sharpie. I want that $2 back.
That's funny. I remember, so at the bar that we worked at, they had a cup and it said plugs, and that's where you put all the beer plugs.
I remember that.
So I wrote butt.
Yes, it's a butt plug.
Classic.
Oh man, I was so confused. I didn't know where to put those things when I opened up in the morning.
Where do
was
I
like,
keep these plugs?
I can only fit 4, so I was like, damn, like what the hell?
Yeah, but now you have a very clean anus.
Oh yeah, no, it's well, I mean, you know, you get all the different flavors in the world. You have your Guinness Stout in there.
Yeah,
you have your Hefeweizen in there. You have your Pilsner Urquell in there.
Urquell. Oh, this other shit. I loved. Can I please get a Laguntis IPA? Oh, what?
My favorite one was there was a guy that came up and he was drunk, and he was like, "Let me get a bullai," and he said it like that, like, "Let me get a bullai," and I was like, "Oh, what?" And he's like, "You don't understand me? Let me get a bullai." And I was like, "What the fuck is a bullai?" Like I had no idea what it was. Maybe he was trying to say like bullet, you know, maybe some bourbon.
Bud Light?
Yeah, right, like maybe a Bud Light. But he was like bullai, and I was like, "What is that?"
It sounds like it's gonna haunt you later.
Yeah, I'm gonna be asleep, you know, or worse, you know, like you know, I'll be like, you know, self meditating somewhere, like you know, in my room, and then I'll just hear "bulai," and then like that ends the session. I'm just like, what the hell?
There's a ruffle in your bath curtain, like shivers a little bit, and it's like "bulai."
It's just like what's going on? Like, why are you haunting me now? It's like this is the worst time ever. This is my fantasy zone. Right?
It's
one of those interactive
the beer
ghost
from
ones.
when you were 13 coming after you.
It's like the ghost of Bud Light past. It's like, I remember you. You threw me up.
You're right in the middle of watching, and then the chick turns around and she's like, "Oh, a Light."
See, I don't know if I would finish after that. Like I mean, it's like the word moist towelette. Like I just kind of get turned off. Like what?
Oh, or you get surprised and it makes you finish, and you're like, "Oh my god!" And now you can't do it without hearing Bud Light.
Just say Bud Light.
You gotta say it in your head and be like, "Hey, babe, just right at the end."
Oh man,
arch your back and say.
I think that's gonna be my new safe word now. You know, it was moist towelette. Now it's gonna be Bud Light. Oh, that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
Shit's pretty funny. Bud Light.
But, all right.
Oh yeah.
So before coming to Vegas, did you bartend where you lived as well? Was it still in Palm Springs, California?
Yeah.
Because you said small town. So was there? I'm sure you had regulars all the time. Was it like a cheer situation, or was it like? I don't know. He says small town bar where you know everybody.
I
just imagine like cheers, but
great?
like you're pissed off to see everybody instead. Like, ah, fuck you.
Like this motherfucker.
No, like
everybody knows your face. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
It's because they're on the wall of shame.
No, like it was cool because I worked at one of the nightclubs. There's only like 3 out
there. They
there.
had a nightclub?
Oh yeah, they had plenty.
So this isn't a small town as I had built in my head.
Well, no. This
you said
isn't
3 troublemakers.
Well, it's not like a one horse town where it's like there's only one hot chick in the middle and everybody's just trying to throw her sales pitch. Like, hey, you know what's up? Hey, buy my mixtape. You know, Tupac, he's my cousin.
All you gotta do is be a dick to her and like, you know, treat her like trash.
No, I'm pretty sure she's gone through it.
You.
She's gone through it like 16 times already. So she's probably like 17 times fooled me twice.
That's
the
guy she keeps on going back to.
Yeah, you know. So it's like, you know, after 9 kids, you know, you can't fall for it the 10th time.
Sure you can.
Fool me 9 times.
That tax money's nice. That's another $2,000 to throw on the W4.
Oh, well, that's in Vegas. That's in Nevada.
California. Oh yeah, no, in California, it's like, you know, those kids belong to me. Like, you know, these state taxes, I'm gonna screw you over. So that's what it is. It's like, oh, you have 9 kids? Oh, because I only counted 3. Your other 6 kids are gonna be for me. It's like, sorry, California, I didn't mean to piss you off. No, but like yeah, so Palm Springs it's really small. So like I said, everybody knows each other, and so when you're a bartender out there, you've worked at a lot of places, so you can't really burn your bridges. Because if you burn your bridge, everybody's gonna know what the fuck you did.
It's kind of like Vegas, though, in a way.
Well, yes and no, because I feel like Vegas. Well, I mean, unless you're on the Strip, but I feel like Vegas in general, like there's so much other shit you can do. Like,
That's true, but like that core group, like you've got Caesars, you've got MGM, and then you've got a couple of other random spots. But for the most part, dude,
Then
like
you got
if you
PTs.
right,
PTs. Or the other one, what's the redheaded stepchild? Distill. There you
Dotties?
go.
Oh, I was gonna say
Distill.
Dotties.
I kind of like Distill more.
They also they
Like
have the
they're more
distilled and the bar, right? They have two different brands, but it's the same people.
Yeah, born and raised,
Oh,
BAR.
nice.
Oh, that's okay.
Dude, I was at a distill once, and I had a bartender that made his own beats, like on an MPC. And
I thought you were gonna go with the crazy garnish again. I was like, he was making his own beats.
No. Yeah, like he grew it in the back. It was born and raised.
I didn't even know they did well out here. That's crazy.
Yeah, like distill. They just have it back there in the kitchen.
What's his growing season? Fuck.
Does he pickle him? He's got to pickle him.
He's got to do it, man. He's got to age the process. So no, dude. So like literally, this dude would like make his own beats, and then he would play it on loop. Because they can choose their own playlist. When you go to like different places like PTs, you can always tell the stoners when they're playing like Expendables, Slightly Stupid. They're playing like like Sublime and stuff like that.
Stupid. That brings it back to high
It's
school.
on Pandora that
Exactly.
plays the same 5 songs over and over.
Soundtrack from American Pie 2.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Some 41.
Right?
That Shrek song. What is it from?
Smash Mouth.
Smash Mouth. There you go.
All Star.
So yeah, the dude like he was like super hipster. Like he had his own beats. He had like a long beard. Just anything you can picture. The guy talked with his eyes closed. That's how you know when you're really hipster, when you talk with your eyes closed and when you're just like
super stoned.
Oh, where you're just like, yeah, I just added an extra ingredient.
It was like kind of
Really?
Oh yeah.
I've never seen anybody do that.
You never seen that? Like like the same guys
it's like
that
kind of
own-
like uppity.
No, because I
kinda,
tend to mock
I'm
people
better
to
than-
their face when they do shit like that.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, dude. Like, pay attention to their eyes. Like when they start getting like a little like, especially when they get excited, they just start like their eyelids just get smaller
I'm
and
gonna
smaller.
tell you
They're just
something
like,
you don't
"Hey,
know.
I made the espresso martini, but I added banana. And I'm just like, all right, mixologist. Shout out to all the mixologists out there.
What dictates mixologist, man? Because I feel like I'm like, all right, fuck. So if I get somebody that's like really into mixology, I'm like, man, I better make this good. Otherwise, I'm gonna feel like a dick. And then I'm like, all right, so what if I make my own tincture? What if I do like like a espression or something crazy, or I have to have this wicked garnish, and I just get over the top, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why does it got to be this fucking complicated?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, and this is how I always saw it. Like, a mixologist is a bartender with one extra ingredient. Because a lot of the times when you go see a mixologist, it's a cocktail. It's a concept cocktail that you've seen before.
Of some very like wild variation or
And then-
something different.
And then they just add that little pizzazz. It's like, oh, I made this espresso martini, but I added cumin. So this is the Grody espresso martini. And it's just like,
Grody.
I was like, all right, thanks, Grody. I appreciate that.
That is a mixology name.
Yeah,
Grody.
Yeah. So it's like, all right,
It's like Brody with a G.
yeah, it's like, go ahead and guess my nationality. I'm gonna say you're a douchebag. Did I guess that right?
80%, bro.
Like, no, it's actually asshole, but you were really close.
Oh man.
Just a couple millimeters.
Oh damn! I gotta send it to the other one. What's the other ones now? I know there's 23andMe, and then there's I forget the other fucking names. Like there's so many more now. And
Ancestry.com.
That was the OG, I think.
Yeah. Well, that was like where they would base it based on like your family that moved here and stuff. So it
But you'd
wasn't
have to
based
make your
on DNA.
own family tree. Yeah, you kind of had to do your own stuff, but they had like a
What a
database for
great
you.
business model.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you tell us.
They're
We'll
like,
tell
"Look,
you.
We got the names. You match it up. Pay us a monthly subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had one, and it's like you put your saliva in there,
Uh-huh.
and
That's
then
the 23andMe, right?
is it 23andMe?
There's multiple, like you said, there are multiple ones that you could do it, but it's
But-
the same idea.
But what I really wanted to do was I wanted to get like a fucking like a one of those like lizards or something, like just like a reptile, and then just like add like whatever like type of saliva it is in there, and then see what it gives me the results, and see like if there's actually like a reptilian fucking like secret
the
society.
It nails like just Sweden.
It just goes to
Like,
Sweden.
oh my God. All the Swedish are lizards.
It's like you're a Swedish lizard.
Gabriel, we knew that you would figure it out. Welcome.
Hey, you know, if anybody's
Lick
ever
their
listening,
eyeball.
so if anybody listening from Sweden, you know, we're not making fun of you, and you know, I just
Did we not have
hope
one
that-
in Switzerland? We had one. No.
No, I don't
Those are
think-
different places, aren't they?
Yeah.
not yet, but eventually.
Yeah, so you know, I just want to throw this out there. It's like APB, you know, just making sure that you guys don't get mad. You know,
Just,
we're-
you know,
it's all
typical
fun.
American.
gonna
Sweden
come
and
back on us.
Switzerland are the same places, right? They got mountains and snow and tall white people.
That's all right.
Blue eyes.
Oh man,
Yeah, for all I know of Sweden is a fucking Swedish chef from the Muppets.
what's the dude with the red hair? What's his name?
Animal?
That's your guy.
No,
No,
no.
the lab assistant.
Beaker.
Beaker.
I always like those two aliens. You know, they were like blue and pink, and they always go yip 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 yip. Yip.
Yeah.
I always forgot who they were, but that was always my shit. Like growing
was
up,
fun.
like I fucking love that. Like holy crap, like I
I
still
didn't watch a lot of Sesame Street.
Beep, 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 beep. I do get creeped out by puppets, which is weird. I do not like
I
them
don't
at
think
all.
it's too weird. I think a good amount of people are unsettled by. Did we just have an earthquake or something? What just happened?
I don't know. I mean, it could be my ADHD kicking in. You know, like I shake my legs every once in a
Yes,
while.
yes.
I think a good amount of
Beep, beep,
people are
beep,
freaked
beep,
out
beep.
by puppets, though. You know.
Yeah, I think it all comes back to my dad used to fuck with me when I was little, and I had a Cookie Monster like puppet on my nightstand. So like I would just be like staring at it, like trying to go to sleep. My dad would be under the bed and waiting to fuck with me. So dude, he would wait it out. Like I'm like, all right, I'm finally safe, and then he'd start fucking with my bed, and I'd be like, God damn it.
They'd be like, Kyler loves cookies.
He'd be like, give me a Bud Light.
Give me a bun. Is this where Chow release date? It's like everything just haunts me. I'm like, God damn. I think that'd be like the worst nightmare. It'd just be that trifecta right there.
Dude, have you had nightmares of work? I've had several where I'm just like, oh, fuck. And then I'm like, God damn it, I got to go into that shit. I used to have.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was
You
gonna say
have one?
mine are always stupid though. They're like a normal ass work day. Like I'll get through like 4 hours of my shift, and then someone will come up and be like, "All right, so we're gonna take 200 pina coladas, 150 Miami Vices. I'm gonna
shit.
need like 40 cheeseburgers, 4 pizzas." And I'm like, "Okay," you know. And then I'm spending the
That's
next
doable. At least you have them.
But you only have like one blender, so you're like, all right, Miami Vice takes like fucking 2
I was like,
blenders.
"Fuck!"
to
I like
make.
get back and I'm like, "Dude, you're gonna fucking hate me." And he was like, "This is
Miami
one hell of a
Vice.
last call." And then I wake up.
Like, who called that? Was it the whole strip? Like, what the fuck? Like,
Have you ever
One
seen
last minute convention.
Euro Trip?
yeah.
Okay, so that part where he's like, Miami is so they're going through the like third world nation, and the guy comes out of his house and he's got like the bike seat, and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, do you know where the train is?" He goes like, "Oh, train's coming. They're building it right now." And he's got like the bike seat, and he like flips it. He goes, "Are you guys from America?" And he's like, "Yeah, from America." And he like flips the bike seat so it's like a gun, and he goes, "Hey, Miami Vice, #1 new show." to like express that they just got the 80s version of Miami Vice.
Number one new show.
#1 new show. So every time I worked at the pool and somebody would order a Miami Vice, like I couldn't help but just be like, #1 new show.
I do it all the time.
Did anybody ever?
Nobody gets it.
Oh, I was gonna say, did anybody
one
ever
ever
get?
gets
No,
it.
Never.
nobody.
Not even
Wow.
people that are familiar with the, like nobody. That's the most obscure reference, but I will never ever forget it. #1 new show.
I
Miami
get that.
Vice.
I get that courtesy laugh every time I do it.
Oh, like no, like for I always say Miscusi, like Miscusi,
Miscusi,
Miscusi. You know, like when I'm passing by people, they don't get it. You know, I'm waiting for that one person to be like, "Oh my God, Euro Trip, I love it." And
You know,
then
that was Fred Armiston.
Yeah, was that Fred Armstrong?
yeah, from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
yeah,
Portlandia.
Dude.
Portlandia. The Californians, what are you doing here?
Dude, That movie was that's an underrated movie for sure. Scotty doesn't know.
Oh
Imagine
man,
they had Matt Damon.
Matt Damon singing.
That was
dude,
also wasn't
fucking
that Sum
great.
41 who did that or
No, it
someone
was some
similar to that?
weird random band. I've looked them up multiple
I thought it was
times.
a popular band.
No. I'm pretty sure that's the only song they had.
Never mind.
But yeah, Matt Damon comes out and he doesn't like fucking is that Matt Damon? And that was one of those things where I didn't notice at the time.
Matt
I didn't know
Damon.
that. I didn't notice Fred because I don't think Fred Armisen was a big celebrity at the time when that movie came out.
He's
'Cause that
probably like in an
movie's old.
improv group and like trying to get shit going.
UBC.
Oh yeah.
He's what's Second City?
UCB. Yeah, Second City, UCB.
The dude's pretty funny. Like he was on a
He is
Dictator.
funny.
He was on the Dictator, and he was like, "What is your name?" And then like he was like, "Employees. Employees what? Moose wash hands. That is a made up name." I was like, I love it. Like the dude's good. Like and like on Saturday Night Live, he can always keep a straight face too. So
Yeah,
I always
great at
loved
keeping
it.
the
He had
face
some
while like being
fucking
really
great
outlandish too.
He
He's
did
funny.
he
His
always played like
eyes,
the
he's
gay
got a lot of
characters
eyes.
really well, where he like fucking would mess people up and then just be like, "Why are you laughing?" I like Fred Armisen a lot.
So anything that got crazy in those bars that you worked at, or the nightclub that you worked at, anything really get out of hand? Or were people a little bit more conserved, living in that smaller area where everybody kind of does know everybody? They were a little bit more weary to let themselves loose.
No, it's just like like any other bar. The first couple drinks, you're just you try to be reserved. And then after like the fourth or fifth drink, you come out, your natural colors come out. Like I worked at a casino in Indio, California, like way out there, and I had these pretty
Is that where
girls.
they do Coachella?
Yeah, like nearby
Over
there.
there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nearby, like about 10, 15 minutes away. And so I worked at one of the casinos, and like I had these pretty girls come up, and they were ordering Chardonnays, and then after like 4 or 5 drinks, after 4 or 5 drinks, they were like, Bud Light. Just kidding. No, they were like, fool.
sell?
No, well, it was something like that, but it was more like, fool, give me a beer. And I was just like, oh,
What do you want
shit.
now?
All of a
I
sudden
was like
everybody's-
really feeling like a bolai.
It's like, how you doing, girl? I'm doing okay. Do you want another drink? Yeah, let me get a Bud Light.
But anything that like really stood out, like
Oh.
while you're working those things that were like, I can't believe this is fucking happening.
Well, it was just more like like I said, like kind of like out here where it's a very small area. So like you always know somebody when you're working in the industry, and so when I was working at Fantasy Springs, that kind of opened up. Oh, sorry, I said the name.
So,
You could say
That's
names
all right,
of
you're not
previous,
there anymore.
previous places you worked at.
Oh, okay, all right, cool.
We just don't want you to get in trouble with the place you work at
Oh,
currently.
Gotcha.
Yeah, fuck Tom's.
fuck Fantasy Springs.
But, yeah, exactly.
Maybe
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
You seem all right.
actually, Fantasy Springs is a nice place.
You're cool.
Yeah,
You're cool.
I'm gonna give that a Gabe thumbs up. The Swedish
Gabe
thumbs up.
That's a mole.
4
thumbs
out
up.
of 5 Gabes.
It's better than Rotten
How do we
Tomatoes.
get the 5th?
Yeah, this is Rotten
We
Potatoes.
only offered healthcare. Fuck.
So like that kind of opened the doors to like coming down to like Palm Springs, because Palm Springs is like, it's a lot like the Strip. So it's all about who you know, and it's all about what you can do. And it doesn't matter. Like, well, I mean, it's a little different here because I'm not a pretty girl with nice tits. So I mean, my job title kind of goes down to like, well, what can I actually do? I got to compete with this girl that's like, oh yeah, I know how to make a vodka cranberry, but she's drop dead gorgeous. So it's just like, it's a little harder, but
How many times have you ordered a drink from a girl and you'd be like, the only reason you got this job is because you are hot? Where you're just like, can I get it? It doesn't even have to be anything crazy. Something's on the back bar. You're just like, ooh, you guys got Jameson Black Barrel. Can I get Jameson Black Barrel on the rocks? And she's just like, boom, dead upstairs. She's just like, huh.
No, man. I mean, like, I ran out of fingers, so it's like, it's so many, and I get it, sex sells out here, that's the thing.
Right. Nothing against females and their abilities.
Yeah, no, nothing at
Like, I
all.
get it.
Like I've met some like awesome bartenders that are drop dead gorgeous, and they know way more than I do.
Oh,
and,
they're cool as fuck.
Oh
too.
yeah, exactly. And I'm just like
unicorns?
yeah, and
Get outta
I'm
here.
just like, who are you married to? And then they're like, I'm married to this guy, and I'm like, that guy has like at least 3 different things going on for him. And I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm not hating on that. That's awesome. I respect that, and it's brother on to you. Hell yeah, keep on doing you. But like, I've also met some fucking idiots
Yeah.
that don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Same for guys too, because I've seen some dudes and I'm like, man, you're a really good looking guy, but you're fucking stupid. And they'd be like yoked, and I'm like, damn, dude, like, what are you doing? And then they're just like, just having a good time, man. Sorry, did you need a drink?
Yeah. Did you need a drink?
Motherfucker.
Yeah. What do you bench, bro? Like,
Let me get an old fashioned. All right. And then like 10 minutes later, they're like, okay, I got you. I got you. I'm like,
go Google it, but the service is really bad. So
yeah, exactly. At least the smile's nice. Is there anything else I can get you $10,000 right there in that smile? Cling. And it's like,
Titty dance. Like,
fuck,
sorry about that.
Can I get some
Titty
ice chips? I don't know.
know,
Whatever's easiest.
Sometimes I just want a fucking beer. So like, I'll just look at them and I'll just be like, you know what, dude, just what's that beer on your right hand side? Whatever it is, give me it.
He's a Bud Light.
It's a Bud Light.
Good one.
It's like, fuck it, I'll drink a Bud Light then, you know, like as long as I get a drink in my hand, you know, it's just
Right.
like, you know.
No, I've definitely done that too, where I'm just like, man, this is going to be, I'm not going to make it complicated because I've already seen this is going to be tough. Just like, just give me a whiskey in the rocks. What kind of whiskey you want? It's like, I don't care. Just like, give me the well. What's well? Like, you know what? Just give me Jameson. So that's like my go-to.
When you
now.
reach
Just
down
like
and grab the
Jameson.
one that says whiskey.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've told bartenders like what a well is? Yeah, that's the most like ridiculous thing to me because I spend my entire weekend explaining what well is to people because they'd be like, I got this wristband and it says all you can drink wells. What's a well? I'm like, all right, well, a well is your basic unknown vodka, rum, gin, tequila, whiskey. Like that's
Just
what
work at
it
a
is.
good place and you have good wells.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but then they're not getting an all you can drink wristband for $20.
That's true. You're drinking like
Also true.
fucking You're drinking like fucking Beam. You know, you're drinking like
Beam isn't that bad. I mean, because you
Maybe.
got Beam is like right on like the middle end of the wells.
No, not Jim Beam. Like the beam with the number on it. Yeah, exactly. You know, like not Jim Beam. Like I'm not mad about Jim Beam. Jim Beam's cool, but it's like Beam, and then it's got like a random number like 8.
Yeah,
and it's like Beam 8. Okay, and it's like, all right, what else?
But
do
it
you
looks
guys?
exactly like
Yeah.
a Jim Beam bottle. It's just not Jim Beam.
Or like tequila that's named
Called
after
Slim Beam.
tequila that's named like after like, you know, like fucking old Aztec like emperors. Like let me get
Montezuma?
let me get Montezuma. Just like, you want a margarita? Yeah, let me get Patron. You get Montezuma.
Right.
like
but
a
you
rum,
said,
get
like, you
Calypso
said, like-
rum.
Calypso. Yeah, Calypso is definitely. You know, there's some that are they're not as bad and like for wells, but they're you hit the Czarina, you're gonna probably be feeling that shit tomorrow.
Like for example, Jose Cuervo Silver.
Yeah.
If they have it on a wall, I'll totally get that.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm like, okay, you know, it's
Traditional is pretty good, man.
Oh, Traditional is really good.
I
Oh
fuck
yeah.
with Traditional. I don't know if I have. Yeah, I do got boom right there.
Wow.
So if you want some, you let me know.
Oh, fucking A, man.
Go stew it up.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right. Tell me a story.
Yeah, so maybe I guess where I was getting at when I was asking about the nightclub and stuff is while you were bartending at the nightclub, it's like expecting kind of like the guy who climbed up on a pole. Was there anything that really stood out like that in California before you come? Because I'd love to hear what it's like around in places that aren't Vegas.
Well, in California, I mean, I wasn't bartending at the time, but I can tell you a time that I went to a bar, and
Ooh,
I've seen
that
some
counts.
shit that actually happened. So I was at this bar in Palm Springs, and it was a biker bar. So you obviously know that, you know, when you go to a biker bar, there's something cool gonna happen already then and there. You know, like, you know, as long as you're like, you know, you're not wearing the opposite colors, I think you're gonna be okay. So this guy, he was catcalling the bartender. Now, a lot of these places with like the bikers and stuff like that, you know, a lot of the members or whatever, you know, that are affiliated with them, they all bartend, and that's in that concept, you know, not necessarily like all the time, but majority of the time, that's where their business is, you know, that's where the bartenders are and stuff like that, you know, and it's respectable, you know, I get it, you know, people, you know, and, you know, people in your
You get
area.
comfortable.
It's kinda like
Exactly. The
club
comfortability.
mentality.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
Right. It's like, I know Tiffany. Like, Tiffany knows that I'm not actually trying to fuck her in the ass, but I'm like, hey, Tiffany.
Yeah, exactly. Give me a
fuck
job. Oh, yeah. Exactly. You know, so
I'm gonna dive your muff, girl.
yeah, I know a drink with 2 oranges. Some guy just got written up for it.
Is this like really exclusive drink from Vegas?
No,
It's
actually,
a drink that shall not be named.
no, actually,
It's easier to show you. Let me just.
Yeah, well, like I'm like perfectly honest. Like I'm not gonna take credibility for that drink as well because I actually learned it from some dude out there in Palm Springs.
Yeah, I've seen it before.
Shout
Yeah.
out, dude from Palm Springs.
Shout out, dude from Palm Springs. I don't want to say your
Hey,
name,
Palm
but you know
Springs.
who you are, man. Much love, man. And
Do you feel like if you say it, he's gonna find out?
I mean,
Fucking Gabe.
nah. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's always like.
Can we guess? Can we guess nationality? Is he Japanese?
Swedish.
He's Swedish. He's Swedish with the hints of asshole.
Just about 10% asshole. This guy.
So yeah, going back to that. So I was at this bar, and this guy was catcalling this girl, and she was one of the bar maidens that was working, and he kept catcalling her. Hey, what's her name? What's her name? And she's like, well, I want to tell you my name. You know, they were just going back and forth, and then it was like those old Western saloon movies, except minus the 12 o'clock noon shoot down. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I don't mean to disappoint any of you guys, but it gets better though. It does get a little better. So the dude was like maybe 5'6", 5'7", tops.
So little dude.
Yeah, he was a little dude.
Short dude.
Yeah, short dude. And this guy at the other end of the bar was just listening to whatever this guy was saying, and this guy's like well over 6'4".
So big ass dude tuned in, getting upset.
Yeah, he's a Debo dude, like from Friday, like he's like what shade, he's a big dude, like, and so she didn't have she had enough. That was it. Mm-hmm. And he goes behind this guy and like towers over him, grabs him by the neck, and picks him up, and the dude's like dangling his little fucking feet, like he's just like right, and I'm just there, just like, what the fuck. And the dude like throws him out. Like, I don't know how he did it. It was like on Left 4 Dead with the tank where he just throws you, and he throws him out, and he was just like, stay out, kind of thing.
Damn.
And I was like, I ain't fucking around with this girl. I was like, what the fuck? And like she comes up to me and like, it takes you a while to calm down. So she's like, is there anything I can get you? And I was like, yeah, give me a Bud Light. I'm just kidding. No, that didn't happen. I was just like, no, we're good. We're good. Yeah, while I'm closing my eyes, give me a Bud Light.
Good setup while you closing your eyes. That's funny, man.
Yeah, it was nuts, man.
That is pretty crazy. Come one-handed too, one-armed.
No. Well, it was like both hands. It was like those old.
Damn, I was impressed. I was like, that
Yeah, it was
motherfucker
in
picked that dude
one-handed,
up with
dude.
one hand and tossed his ass out.
Oh no,
I mean, just because he's 5'6" doesn't mean the dude isn't like 180 pounds. Like he could be heavy too. Like,
I had one of those old WWF like wrestling toys with like the Giant, not Andre the Giant, but his son, the Big Show, and like it was like a little Rey Mysterio character, and so like when you squeeze his legs, it would pick him up like with one hand like this, And that's how it looked, It was just like he was up here and he was just dangling his little fucking legs,
moonwalking in there.
Yeah, he was just like, "Get me down, get me down."
Oh, no.
I'm sorry,
I didn't mean it. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, she's just nice. And just threw the motherfucker out. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, the only experience I've had with that is we went to this. It's like one of the older bars across town that my wife like grew up in. Like, so when she was a kid, her dad used to hang out there all the time. So it was like it was more of like just like a neighborhood bar grill type deal. So they would hang out in the side room, and like all the kids grew up there and all that shit. So we'd go there, and she's like, "Oh, I used to hang out here and be here all the time." And there was just like a group of dudes that were just like hitting on the fucking bartender server, like just relentlessly. And I'm like, man, is those guys bothering you? I'm like, does that bother you? She's like, why are you going to help me? Are you going to save me? And I'm just like, but it was like the most demeaning thing where it was just, yeah, I was just like, all right, you know what? Fuck you. Like, I hope you stuck with this for the next 3 hours. Like maybe if somebody else was just like, hey, could you just leave her alone? That's not cool. Because I know that, well, I kind of like it when it happens to me, like Gibby the gay, because it's rare. But if it was happening every day, I would just be like, man, could you guys just like knock it off? Could you leave me alone? 'Cause I guess you have to endure that. But that's one of those things where I'm not a girl, so I wouldn't feel that. But then I try to get like empathetic where I'm just like, man, that must suck. Nice tits.
But I mean, if she's gonna act
These
like
are probably the guys that are there 3-4 days
Well,
a
that's-
week,
that's what
constantly
yeah.
tipping her,
They're regulars where they feel comfortable enough to do that, where they
taking
think
real
it's
good
cool.
care of her. Yeah.
oh yeah,
So what are you gonna save me?
Yeah,
So
I was just like,
I'm not Captain Save-A-Ho. I'm just asking, are you okay? These guys seem like assholes.
That was like Meg from like Hercules, you know, like, are you gonna save me, Wonder Boy? Like, what's going on? I was like, no, like, never mind.
yeah, like, I'm sorry. I misread this situation. You have fun. We're going to play shuffleboard.
Ankles.
All right,
It's
cheers, guys.
traditional.
You still that mezcal I gave you?
Oh, yeah. I think I do.
Which, by the way, that was a weird fucking story.
Let's get into it.
Oh. So I was in Mexico. I was visiting a family hometown, and in this hometown, it's nowhere.
Wait, you're Mexican?
No, I'm Swedish with a hint of Japanese and a quarter asshole.
Whoa.
I know, right? Go figure.
Go figure.
Go figure. Bud Light.
So you're visiting the hometown.
So I'm
I've been
visiting.
interrupting you a lot, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool, Chase. It's all good, man. So I was visiting my family hometown. It's been like, oh, there it is. Fucking A. So I was visiting the hometown, and I haven't been there in like since I was 5 years old. So like maybe 23 years. Right? So I go for my first time, and like my uncle was showing me around. He used to live in the States, and then he like decided to move out there, and you know just lives out there. So he knows a little bit of English. My Spanish is horrible. That's one thing about me. Like I can't speak Spanish worth the shit. I'll speak that Taco Bell Spanish, you know, where it's like I'll try.
Do you understand when people talk to you in Spanish?
Oh yeah, most
So
definitely.
you could retain it, but just like spitting it out, it's hard.
Yeah, because especially like if I don't have like 4 or 5 Coronas in me, like you know, it's a little bit harder. So it's like you know, like I can't really like speak fast or whatever.
don't
So
have the lubrication.
So I'm just like fuck, you know. So a lot of it's like Google Translate, where I'm like, okay. So this word, this word, this. Okay, put these words together. Okay, this doesn't sound right. All right, you know, things like that, you know. And
See, I always wondered that.
Because I can understand more than I can speak for sure, and I don't understand it like completely or anything like that. I feel like what fucks me up is sentence structure. I don't know why that didn't want to come out. Just because it varies, right? It's different. Like the way that it's structured is different. Our sentences, both English and Spanish, right? So I'm trying to think of it how it would be in English. I'm like, this isn't right. And I'm not saying it right in my head.
yeah,
And it was like that. So that was a perfect way to explain it. Like Google, like you got to take it in, move it around, put it back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so yeah, it was hard for me to kind of speak Spanish out there. So I didn't really speak that much Spanish. I just let my uncle do it. And so I was looking for mezcal, and you know it's nowhere near Oaxaca, you know where the mainland is. So it's like you know it's way down there, and a lot of the practices is not part of Mexico. So like you know you can make your mezcal, but in certain places you're not allowed to make mezcal. So you kind of have to do like a word of mouth. And
It's
so,
like a moonshine
yeah,
type deal.
Yeah, exactly. Like that bottle you have.
Yeah. It's like traditional. With
Oh yeah. So the story behind that like is so we were in like one of the major cities in that state of Mexico, and we ran into this dude in a wheelchair, and my uncle knew who he was, and he asked him, it's like, hey, do you know where we can get mezcal? And he was like, yeah, actually I do. He's like, you guys want to follow? And he's like, yeah, we'll ride with you. Then looked at my uncle. I was like, we're riding with this guy? He's like, oh, that's cool. You know, don't worry. I know the guy. I was like, okay. So we go, and then we go up the mountain, right? We go up the mountains, like somewhere, like I really don't know because it's like my first time.
On his wheelchair? How are you getting around?
Just said, what are you riding on?
Oh no, he's the guy's driving a car, like
I see.
but it was like you know like remotely for him, you know. It had like all the fucking you know Fisher Price stuff on there, you know, like it was for him, you know, like
That makes sense. I
Like
just
the
was
car
like,
was
you rolled
modified.
up to this dude on a wheelchair and he's bringing you up a mountain.
yeah, he's just like right
That
with
is one
me.
hell of a battery.
So jump
It's
on,
like-
motherfucker. Whee!
It's like that never-ending story. Like it's just like
Fucking dragon.
he was the dragon, you know. We just got on his back.
So you hop in his car, you're driving up this mountain.
Yeah. So we're in his car. We're going up this mountain, and then we go up to this place, and this mountain area, it was heavily guarded. So it was like, who are you? It's like, oh, I'm so and so. Da, 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 da. Who's this guy? And I stayed quiet because I don't speak Spanish, right? Mm-hmm. So I stayed quiet. Oh, he's my nephew. All right, cool. They let us in, and then so we go in. Da 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 da. We go to another spot, and then we're getting close to the cave. Who are you? Da 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 da. Who's this? It's my nephew. All right, go in. So now we're in this pit where they actually make the mezcal. You know, and like I'm seeing everything, like they're carving it up in this fucking stone.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, no, it's super trippy because we had to like go like maybe half a mile into the cave in order to actually go into the fucking pit.
That's pretty awesome.
And the pit is like it's super dope. Like they have like these piñas that are charcoaled, and they're fucking they're ready to go, and they're just crushing it out, and these guys are just distilling them. And I'm not asking any questions. I'm just I'm observing everything, and I'm just like fascinated. I'm like, holy fuck, you know, this is totally different than making tequila, you know, in a sense.
Right.
Same concept, just you know, it's a different way. And so then the guy, you know, just hands me this bottle. And he's like, all right, here you go. How much is it? $10. $10 for a liter? Yeah. Cool. All right, let's do it. And so I bought a couple bottles. I shared it with my family, and then this last bottle I brought here to the United States, and
now it's here.
and
dude.
now
That's
Kyler
fucking
has
dope.
it.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, but it was fucking nuts, dude. It was a nuts way of like going through some shit, man. It was crazy.
So this isn't. I just realized the bottle here.
different.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
it's the same.
So it's different product in this bottle.
Oh yeah.
They
yeah.
just recycle the bottles like that, or
Exactly.
Okay.
So they didn't use that name product. It's just they had a bottle at the time of that, and then they recycled it. But that's pretty much what I had to go through, and it was nuts, man. Like,
yeah, that's crazy. That's some like Area 51 type shit, you know, where you
Yeah.
gotta roll up. You have a couple different guards asking you what's going on.
It seems like a lot of work for $10 a bottle, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
a lot of people employed.
That's what. Yeah, when you
on
said
it.
$10, I was like, what?
but the weird thing it was only like 25 minutes. So it was weird. It was only like 25. It was a 25 minute
Dig it
process.
up to the mountain to get there. Oh.
Yeah. So it was like we went up the mountain. Like it was like up there, like somewhere in the boonies, like away from the city. And then we had to go through like two different people. And then when we did the little like half a mile hike, you know,
Dude, that sounds
it's like,
dope. We should do that where we all get together and go buy some moonshine,
Oh,
like
dude.
in some podunk ass middle of the country.
like Kentucky or somewhere.
Yeah,
Sounds like
that'd
a
be
good
fun,
way to
right?
get on the fucking news.
Local Vegas
Shit.
celebrities. Their podcast gets busted while trying to buy unlicensed
Vegas
alcohol.
celebrities, but
No, I like that.
I like.
Hey, if you're
could-
listening an hour and a half in, then
I would like the fact that that they say us, and then they try to interview like the person that was like, oh yeah, I seen him. I seen him. I was like, I seen everything you did. He was over there hanging out with these two guys and this guy that's like Swedish, Japanese.
he might have been Swedish or Japanese.
He's
I'm
like
not sure.
he's like I'm not really sure. You know, like
Pretty sure he liked Bud Light.
so this is the mezcal.
This is a mess,
This is
dude.
the
This is
mezcal
fucking
that's
Sorry,
dope.
that's so cool.
This is
yeah.
very cool. I don't think we've actually done anything. Dude, that is cool. That is so smoky. It's like leathery. It doesn't taste bad, but it reminds me of like a musty spot. Like if you went to a really old place and you walked in and you're like, there's a very distinct smell in here.
yeah.
The taste doesn't reflect that, but the smell kind of like has this
Like someone who
crazy.
smoked a lot of cigars in a certain room or
Yeah,
something like
like very leathery type. I mean, it's really hard to describe. That's cool because it doesn't taste bad. It tastes like the finish on it's almost like the tequila that we just drank.
Yeah.
Very similar, but the smell is very distinct.
that. It almost tastes like they took the tequila and then dripped it through like mesquite wood or something like that and then into the bottle.
Like, dude, yeah, like that's
Like
cool.
wood that you would barbecue with.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of is almost like you ever been through a museum with really old like World War II stuff, and you're like, wow, there's just like a. But so if you go down the street from here, there's actually the Clark County Museum that's right down the street.
I've been wanting to go there for so long and I never have.
Super cheap. It's pretty neat. But if you go in there, there's a couple of spots where you smell like the old leather. That's what I feel like this smells like.
If you're a Pokemon Go fan, there's like 4 gyms there.
Oh no way. Oh shit. I just gave that away. Sorry. No, I do play Pokemon Go.
It just recently
Play
stopped.
Pokemon
I
Go?
ran.
Oh yeah.
I gotta delete a bunch of stuff.
Oh
like,
no, I was
get to
playing it
all
at
this.
times.
Were you?
Oh,
I was
yeah.
playing it at Tom's too.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, if you're in the
You gotta
inside
stop
bar,
right,
Oh, yeah.
right outside.
Oh yeah, right there you have like 3 different fucking like center shops that you can just like flick the thing and then it'll
Yeah.
give you like your
played
random stuff.
twice. Yeah, I just kept it on. So I would have my portable charger right there, and I would just like spin, and then I would just hit it occasionally, like it resets every 5 minutes or something like that. Dude, I got so many presents.
Yeah.
There was one of the line cooks plays. I don't remember his name. I got him as a friend on Pokemon Go. I'll send him your way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because that fool gets that same spot because I get all those presents from him.
Oh, you know who used to play
Gifts.
too? Our human resources lady. What's her name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you remember her? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she used to play too. Like I had her.
She's
as a
nice.
friend.
I think she listens to the podcast.
Oh, does she?
I think so.
Oh, hey, shout out to you. You were awesome.
Yeah, you were the best part of Tom's, actually.
Exactly.
Chase Neasy.
Yeah,
Friend me
there
on
you
Pokemon
go.
Go.
There you go.
No, I don't know if my wife still plays, but she stayed a lot more active than I did. Because I mean, how old are you?
I'm 28.
You're 28.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're right between both of us.
Yeah.
So you're a little bit older than him, a little bit younger than me. So when Pokemon came out, like I had when I was a kid that Pokemon Yellow Game Boy.
Yeah.
And that was like the shit. Like I just remember, so like when it first came out, one neighbor out of the entire neighborhood had it. And so we would go over, there was like me and another kid, and we would go over and play their Pokemon, the original, like Red. I think it was Red or Blue. It was one of those two. It was either Red or Blue. We would play it on their Game Boy. We'd sit on their porch when they were not even with us, and they would I would just watch him play it, and then I would take a turn and play it, and then I would watch him play it. Mainly I watched him play it because he was a lot older than me.
Yeah.
So I just watched him play it. And then after a while, I was like, I want this. So I told my parents, like, that's what I want. This is what I want. So I got the Pokemon Yellow Edition Game Boy with the yellow Pokemon.
Game Boy Color.
Yeah, I
the
would
Game
play
Boy
that
Color, yeah.
nonstop, dude. I played that so fucking much. I had everything memorized to the T. What was the weaknesses, where you could find this, where you could find that. Like, I had the strategy down to a T. It was like, all right, as soon as I get to level 13, I'm moving on to this and doing that. That's weird, man, being that obsessed in games. Like, I've done that for a long time.
Oh yeah, and people are still like doing that. Like, you know, like for example myself, like the new Pokemon Sword and Shield came out for the Nintendo Switch, and like I've been on that. You know, and I fall in love with it. Like every single time the new game comes, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna check it out. You know, and then I fall in love with it over and over again.
Hits you with nostalgia.
Well, it's that, and it's just like you've done it for so long. Like it's just like it becomes kind of a part of you.
For sure.
And it sucks because like it's, you know, it's a lot of time consuming. That's for sure. You know, but at the same time, it hits you in that right spot where you're just like.
It's comforting.
Yeah, I feel okay doing this. Like this is great.
Like it's good. You're happy.
And they're still good
accomplished.
games too. That's kind of the thing. It's like I'm a decent Zelda fan. It's like you get into the games and then it's like they are still good games. So like it's not just that it's getting older and like, oh, maybe I shouldn't really do this anymore. It's like they're still fun.
Yeah.
I've gone back and tried to like watch some stuff from when I was a kid. I was like, oh my god. You ever try to rewatch like Rugrats or some shit like that?
Oh yeah.
No way. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough to get through.
I did All Real Monsters, and I was like, damn, I really liked this show when I was a kid. And then I looked at it, I was like, okay, I can see why. And I was just like,
But now you're like, not so good.
But you can still play your Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
Dude, Pokemon holds up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like especially like when you get influenced, you know, you're just like, you know, you smoke some weed here and there, and you're like, oh yeah,
let's get medicated.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how that Pikachu meme came along. I mean, it was probably some other 28-year-old dude that was like, oh my god, this is great. He made that face. And then he zoomed in and then made it into a fucking meme. And look,
it's because he was watching the original Indigo series while he was stoned. Like,
yeah,
so he was
he was watching Indigo on Indica.
Yeah,
exactly.
And he paused it to go take a piss and was like, oh shit, I got a meme.
I never understood, but they were always high. They wanted me to be high. They were trying to tell me this whole time. The associations you make when you get stoned, you're just like, that must have been it.
Yeah.
It gotta be it.
I gotta catch them all. How the fuck did they know? I have so much time now. Time just slowed down after I smoked this fucking joint. Like, holy shit! How do they know I gotta
You're
catch
like, man,
really
if I could have
does
just,
slow
if I was doing this when I was 10, like these trainers.
Oh, I still have my old Pokemon cards, like even like
you?
to this day. Oh yeah,
I
for
say,
sure.
we were big
Like,
collectors too. We didn't, or at least I didn't play the game very much. I'm 5 years younger than Kyler, so when we were
I never
like
played the
really
game
all,
either.
we collected a lot of the cards, but we never really played the game.
I played them as a collector, which I wish that this particular type of like business entrepreneurial type whatever the deal was when I was younger, I wish that would have continued to me being an adult, but that didn't translate. When I was a kid, what I did was my parents didn't buy me cards. So what I did was I just hustled cards off of other kids with like, I've got like 10 of these Ratarats, like give me one of those Venusaurs. I'm like, we'll call it even. Like you get 10 cards, I get one, like whatever.
oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so like that was my thing. Like I would just hustle kids out of their cards exponentially, where I just continually built this empire Pokemon deck where I had a Charizard, Venusaur, I had all the decent cards, but I never bought them. Like I had like a handful of booster packs here or there, but I feel like that was just one of those things where my parents were like, this is ridiculous, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
So like I had to do that, but I never. And so I did just like something from then to now where I'm just like, I can't do that. I can't like fuck people out of their Pokemon cards. I can't.
But do you see how much they're worth now? Like especially if you had like
Wish we still had our
very
binder. We had
Yeah,
our binder.
Yeah,
exactly,
I had
like-
the original holographic Charizard. I had all that. I sold it all to get a Pokemon Silver Game Boy cartridge,
Oh,
the
nice.
Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
So I got the silver. So I
have
traded
that
in
anymore.
all mine.
Hey, that's
I don't
still
even have
some
that
money right
anymore,
there.
yeah.
though.
Yeah, say that might even be worth something
Sorry,
too.
nope.
Yeah.
I got
I
nothing.
remember getting like I think McDonald's was on it. They had like those gold plated ones, and then
Oh, I think it
if
was-
you went and saw Pokemon the movie, and then Pokemon 2000, if you were like one of the first ones, they gave you a hologram like Mewtwo
Yeah.
or Mew.
They did that with the fucking movie theaters.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, if you went and saw the movie, they'd give you the little thing with the ticket.
I
First
still have-
time-
card.
Well, go ahead.
First time I ever got hit on by a dude was at Pokemon the movie. I went and saw it by myself because I didn't have many friends who would see it with me.
Yeah.
So I was alone in the movie theater. A gay dude and a chick sit down, and he was hitting on me. And I was like,
Were you guys around the same age, or was this like an adult?
no.
hitting on you?
He was around the same age.
Jeez.
But he was just like,
I was a little worried for you for a second. I was like, oh shit, dude.
So,
I started doing it by yourself when you're like 12.
hey, kid,
No.
You
this
like
was-
Well, we were in
Pokemon?
Vegas too.
Yeah, we were in
we
Vegas.
were still up in Vegas.
So this would have been, I think maybe
Even
went to
worse.
Santa Fe. No, so
the
I
Santa Fe station by yourself.
No.
You
He
like
wasn't.
Pokemon?
He was an adult.
My brother's
He
in
was,
ice skating right now. I'm just waiting for him to get done. He's like, wow, you got a brother?
No, this kid probably was. Yeah, you guys
He's
been
younger?
close to
Great.
me. Yeah, well, because who else was seeing Pokemon? Well, I guess maybe some pedophiles.
That's why I
were-
was
Yeah,
worried.
exactly. It's exactly, man. Like,
At
Wow, you
least
came by yourself? You know, I got a
in-
Pikachu in my car. It's a hologram.
I'll
Holographic.
let you Pikachu at it.
all right,
Yikes.
there was an opera singer by the name of Jackie Vanco, and she was a little kid that sang opera. And this is a true story. This is going back to like when I was working in California, and this is totally going like off of Pokemon, but this is going into like
Gotta get
the
that D voice back again.
whole- Oh yeah, that's how you know it's getting
There's a
really
young woman.
serious. This about to get real slow.
Named Jackie.
Jackie, she like bolai.
She like Bud Light.
She was a
So-
young opera singer.
Chase can get deep.
Oh yeah, no man, like you could totally like sing like fucking R&B music.
No,
That's
Chase is
all
a
you gotta do
country
is just-
singer. Through and
Oh,
through.
are you a country singer? For
country
real?
music
No,
star.
I can- yeah, I'm great at karaoke.
Give it all on my roots.
Like he covered your hair.
Because
What
yeah.
happened to her?
All right, so she was like on America's Got Talent or whatever. Be like a little background story. I think that's what it was. I'm not really too sure. And she got really big.
Maybe Star Search.
It's something like that. Like it's a little girl that sings opera.
This is older, right? This is like an older thing.
This was like back in. I'll tell you right now. This was back in 2013.
Okay, not quite Star Search era. This is definitely American Idol.
Yeah, so this was like in 2013, like when this happened.
Maybe even The Voice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, my voice kind of changes like when I'm telling stories. Yeah. So
No,
yeah.
the TV shows.
Oh, that's what you meant. Sorry. God damn it.
I'm going through all these talent shows.
Damn shots catching up on us.
Oh man, fuck.
If you listen to an hour and a half or an hour 45 minutes in, hey, thanks. We're really gonna get to some good shit here.
I'm so sorry. So there was this young lady. She's an opera singer.
Yeah. So going to like what we were talking about, like with that guy, you know, the Pokemon thing. So she's a 13, 14-year-old singer. A lot of her fan base were guys that were over the age of 18, like way over the age of 14.
Yeah.
And so like, and these guys were like, they were like bronies, like, you know, like how we see bronies now, like the My Little Pony guys that love the, you know, but
It's not her age. It's the lyrics of what she's singing.
Yeah, pretty much. And I remember I was doing a satellite bar, and I was talking to this guy, and he had a shirt that says Jackie Evanko, and it was like a heart or whatever. It was like something that you would see like in like the late '90s Backstreet Boy shit, you know, like you know what people would wear, but he like with the girl's name.
That is so creepy.
Yeah, and I told the guy was like well over 30, you know, he had a fucking mustache. He probably drove like a van without any windows on it, you know, like yeah, exactly.
Just one, so that they're
so that way she knows it's like the fucking lure.
Safe. Look, there's a window.
And so I was talking to the guy, and I was like, hey, so that's a cool shirt, you know, just make a conversation because I was trying to make money. And he's like, yeah, I really hope she sees it. I'm sitting on the second row. Da, 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 da. And then I was just like, oh, you're in the second row of the shirt or the show? And he's like, yeah, I hope she sees the shirt. You know, that's why I sat in the second row so she could see the shirt. And I'm like, cool.
okay.
Cool. All right, that's gonna be $12. Yo, here's
It's like
20.
12. That's my favorite number.
He's like, yeah, here's 20.
Oh.
Here's 20. Here's 20. Keep the change. And I'm like, that's exactly where you're gonna get if you touch her.
Yeah,
You're gonna
20
get
and
20
some change.
And some change.
And like, I remember looking at my other bar patron. I looked at her and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was just like, what? Like, I've been like, you know, I've seen like the fucking like, hey, you know, stranger danger, don't talk to strangers. But this is like actually the first time, you know, I've ran into somebody. I'm not really a good looking guy, so I don't think anybody would want to like kind of like fucking like steal me. So I'm just like, okay, you know, so like I had that luxury of like not getting like into somebody's van. So like just seeing this for the first time, I looked at her because she's a good looking girl, and I was like, what the fuck?
She said, girl, run.
And she looked at me and she's like, I know. And I looked at him, I'm like, what? And then I was like, is this the first time she ordered with you? And then he was like, no, he ordered a Bud Light. I'm just kidding. No, he didn't say that. All right, no more Bud Light. I'm sorry.
This is his fourth.
Was he like a creepy looking dude, or did he, other than the shirt, did he just seem like a normal guy?
All right, you seen Toy Story 3, right?
That's what's it. With the beard, the Al's Toy Mart
Al,
guy?
yeah, he looked just like Al.
It's Toy
like,
Story 2, I think.
Was it 2?
I think
No,
it's number
wait,
2.
no.
But I was,
Yeah.
Oh
Al's
yeah,
Toy
it was 2 because that's when he meets Jesse and the Prospector and all them. Okay, yeah, Toy Story 2, yeah. So he looked like Al, like straight up
So
like
he
Al.
did look creepy, kind of.
That is 100% creepy.
Dude, the dude looked like
Chubby guy, goatee.
yeah.
Out of shape.
Glasses.
Got that friar tuck thing going on
Thinning
upstairs.
hair, yeah.
The dude looked fucking crazy, like and
Second row.
like if I was ever like in one of those you know where you go in and like, oh, do you know who the suspect is? And I knew who the suspect was, and I look at him, I'm like, that guy's totally it.
Even
though
if he
he's
didn't,
not
you
him,
just followed your
even
gut.
if that's
Yeah.
not him, I was like, that guy totally did it.
Is that guy?
That's the guy. That's the guy that fucking did it. You know?
Oh, shit.
You know how many dudes have to be like that are out there? There's so many
For
dudes.
it to become a stereotype
no,
like that?
Yeah. To like stereotypical. So this is the same thing, right? People are like, you Asian, coronavirus. You Mexican, you got the swine flu. Yeah. They're like, you bald and fat and white, got glasses, you pedophile. Like,
you a red dot on a map.
Oh man.
But it's so true because you look at those guys and you're just like, wait, you're 40?
laser.
Like you've never had a girlfriend before? I'm like, this is not okay.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you are not mentally like you haven't progressed the same as everybody else. Not saying that like we are anything special, but we're like normal people. But there's so many people out there, especially like in that like gamer community. You especially hit those guys in that where you're playing and you're just like, all right, cool. And then just like, wait, you are not a normal person. Like you never got normal socialized.
There's a lot of normal gamer. I think it's more of like the anonymous typing community more than just like, because gamer, you're behind like a gamer tag, you know, and you're not yourself, so you can be whatever the fuck you want to be, you know. It's like you can put up a picture of whatever.
Okay, on Reddit.
A lot of these guys on Reddit.
So like
I just mean in general that kind of thing. Yeah.
And I believe that because like when I get a PS5, my PSN, by the way, if anybody wants to look it up, it's gonna be Little Ultra Boy 420. and like and I want to see.
That's not taken.
Well, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so I'm probably gonna have to put like 42020.
We'll wait to put this out.
Like
42069 nice.
Yeah, there you go. You know, I'm gonna have to add some number, but I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna look at it and be like, "Hey, man, you like hockey?" And I'll be like, "I mean, yeah." You know, it's just because it's always like some random stuff. It's always like, "Hey, man."
Is that code word or something?
I have no idea. Like, you know,
you like hockey?
You like hockey? It's like, fuck yeah, I love hockey. Or get in my van with no windows on. You know,
one window.
Let's go. Yeah.
Let's go one window.
Yeah, and that's just for me to roll down the window so everybody can listen to Keith Urban.
Oh shit. They're talking about your screen name being Altar Boy 420.
Yeah, that's gonna be my screen name, you know. And I'm just gonna play it off. I'm like, wait, what's going on? I was like, this wasn't part of the psalm.
So he's virtually putting you in your van. Oh,
and so like every time somebody like messages me, I'm just gonna like give them like a different biblical term.
And like you're just gonna have a bunch preloaded because you're gonna be stoned as fuck.
Exactly. So it'll just be like that. Like, hey man, what elementary school you go to? It'll be like Psalm 316, you know, or whatever. You
He's
know,
like St. Joseph's. I know where that's at.
He's like, oh yeah, I
no.
frequent there. Father Maxie, is that you?
I should have made love to you when I had the chance.
No.
The body of Christ compels you.
You remember that from Hot Chick?
Yeah. I know what you're talking. Oh, Billy.
Rob Schneider.
He's a carrot.
He's a carrot.
Rated PG-13.
Will he get out of his situation? It'll be a stew of a time.
All right, I feel like we got to call this. It's gotten out of control. Dude, when we start doing shots, that's when you know it's like a downhill slope. Hey, thanks for listening. You're going to watch this on YouTube because hopefully we figured out all the compatibility issues with this fucking iPad and this not fucking Sony A60. But yeah, you look fantastic, by the way. You can see there's no question those blue eyes shine right through that camera.
So, are you a big fan of UFC MMA, or do you also roll or fight yourself?
You mean like rolls?
Oh, because you got the hat on. That's what
jiu-jitsu.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Shit, I thought you knew the term because you're all dressed up.
No, I get you.
You don't listen to Joe Rogan?
No, I do. I love the Joe Rogan experience. No, but I also grew up in a different time where roll meant ecstasy.
It's like I was right next to Indigo. I was right next to Coachella.
Stevie Aoki was right there when I took 4 quads. Like holy shit. No, I'm just kidding.
Quaaludes.
Yeah. No. I like watching it.
Spanish Fly.
Yeah, exactly. No, I started watching it a lot more when I was out here in Las Vegas, and I started not getting religiously into it, but it's just more of like I started watching a little bit more, and then I started kind of. When you come out here, you kind of get like a little gambling thing going on. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like I bet on fights. Yeah, I bet on fights. Sure. I bet on sports bets.
No, I mean I don't play football ever, but I wear Viking shit all the time. You know what I mean? I was just wondering. You seem like you could actually get down and like you might be into it too. You know what I mean? So I was just curious.
Thank you. No, I lost 30 pounds since I've been here. So like
yeah.
I was at like 190 when I was working over there.
What, you done on 160?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, almost to like the 150s.
Dude, I've been 160 since sophomore year.
No shit. Lucky you. Goddamn, lucky you, man. Because like.
No, lucky me. Like I can't lose weight. It's difficult to lose weight for me.
160 is a healthy weight though, man.
No, if I was 160, I would look ridiculous. I would look skinny. Yeah. How much do you think
That's
I weigh?
about where I should be.
I'm gonna say 174.
Really? 200 pounds.
No shit.
Yeah. Stocky, Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say like 174. It looks like lean muscle.
Look at that, it's all titty right
there.
there.
I mean, I'm not looking at your titties, Kyler. God damn it.
My eyes are up here.
You are now.
I'm Gibby. I'm Gibby now.
Shit. Yeah.
Hey, so what's up? What's your name?
Sure.
Hey, where you get that shirt?
International Fight Week. You can fight me any day of the week.
Hey, you want to fight me? You want to wrestle?
We will wrestle.
It's okay. You can put me in a hold. My safe word is moist talent.
My
He's
moist
Bud
tale.
Light.
As long as you buy me, as long as you buy me a Bud Light.
Just need one more Bud Light.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, Gabe. Thank you for being part of Gone
Thank
Too
you.
Far from
Yeah,
Behind
we're
the Bar.
gonna we're gonna
Thank
tag
you.
your Instagram, Gabe the bartender.
Not
Do you
the
want not Grizzly the mole?
Not Grizzly the Mole, guys.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be.
It used to be.
Formerly known as Grizzly, though.
As Grizzly the Mole, yeah.
Hey guys, we got a lot of cool stuff coming on. Hopefully this will be on YouTube. Please check us out there. We got the instructional series on how to make a Manhattan's going to come up shortly. You know what? I love you.
I love you too.
Yeah, I love you guys, man. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Your camera's over there.
Oh no, I was making love to the microphone, but I love you guys too. Hold on, I gotta get closer now. And I'm just kidding.
You can?
just like
I got
going up to
digital.
I really love you. Check your Vanco. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Thanks everyone for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.